you're not around, reach. You're here to keep, baby, for you. So, yeah, baby, for you. Hurry, come on, boy, see about me. Hey, Abu. Hey, Watermix. Hey, Tyra. Hey, Queen of Diamonds. Hey, Mac. Tell me something good. All right, I'm just getting warmed up. Let me set up this live stream. We about to rock steady. Eh, eh. Hope everybody is doing well. Feel now exactly what it is. Side to side and take a ride. Song exactly what it is. What it is, what it is, what it is. What it is, what it is. For those that are just coming in, I'm setting up the live stream right now. Just bear with me. Got the devil on his side. Rock steady, baby. Rock steady, baby. All right, next. Mm-hmm. Happy Taurus season, everybody. Shout out to all the Taurus. I have never been so much in love before. Come on now. Okay, here we go. I'm almost done, y'all. Just had to add the picture. Never dreamed of feeling I had before. Oh, I hate when it does that. Okay. All right, I'm setting the chat to subscribers. So if you're not subscribed and you want to chat, you might want to subscribe now. All right, let's get this on and popping. Okay. I have some things to share with y'all first before I get into the main topic of tonight's discussion. And if you see the title of the video, you already know what the main topic is. Let me just make sure my monetization is on. Okay, let's see who else is in here. Hey, Kawaii, how you doing? We got Vinny Vin up in the house. We got Siobhan, Diggable Planet, moderator up in the house. We got Blazing Black Dolphin up in the house, the Arrow. You said, what's Shannon Sharpe's trauma? Mom, you know his mom has a lot to do with this, him being a Cancer. Hey, Shine Star, we got another diggable planet up in the house. Hey, Tracism. Hey, Shell 76. All right, so let me see if anybody else is in here. Anybody I missed? Kind-hearted goddess. Hey, you said my dad is a Cancer. He loves me and young white girl. I'm done. All right, and then we got Annie up in the house. Hey, Annie. Oh, thank you. Okay, let's see. TW. Make me think of TWA. Wait a minute. Was that the airline that went out of business? Wasn't it there an airline called TWA? Belizean baby. What's up? Open 642. Fine dining in the house. I always be like, that's a restaurant. That's a Michelin star restaurant. Open 642. I always be like that. All right, and then let's see who else. Millionaire. Hey, how you doing? All right, speaking of millionaire, no, I got some questions for y'all for Taurus season. So, but before I do that, shout out to all the Taurus. Happy birthday, Taurus, to you. Shout out to all my diggable planets. I only got a couple of y'all up in here so far. Shout out to all my patrons. And before we get started, I do want to let you guys know that I am hosting another workshop. It's going to be on the lunar nodes and it's going to be very in depth. Now, I hosted a lunar nodes workshop, I would say maybe 4 or 5 years ago. So I think it's about time to host another one because I've gotten, new followers since then. So, and even if you've taken the first one years ago, you might want to take a refresher course because I'm going to revamp it. It's going to be even more in depth than the first one. It's going to be really good. So if you want some insight into the nodes, how they basically pertain to your karmic debt, your fate, your destiny, definitely consider signing up for this workshop. So it's going to be on May 10th. That's a Saturday, so that'll be next Saturday. And I'm posting the link so you can get your tickets in the description section. So check it out if you're interested. Also, one of my viewers suggested that I start creating my own crossword puzzles dealing with astrology. He had commented on one of my astral crossword videos, and I was like, oh, that is a wonderful idea. So I started researching how to make your own crossword puzzles. So I currently have made one so far. So I already started writing down the words for the second one. So I want to create maybe like 10 different crossword puzzles dealing with astrology. So that probably will be completed probably by the end of this month. And I'll add it to my website for a small fee, maybe $7 for those that want to complete crossword puzzles. And it'll also, it's a great way of learning astrology and studying astrology and just testing your knowledge of astrology. So I'm excited about that. So stay tuned for that. And then I know I've been telling y'all I've been writing my book. I actually have two books in the making, right? Before I started this third book. So the book on transits, that book is taking a long time because when you know how sometimes you don't know when the work is actually done, and I do have to go through all this editing. So basically the rough draft of the transit book is done, but I have to go through all this editing. I still have to go into the surveys that I had people complete for that book and all that. But I am working on a book that should be published this year if I really get my ass in gear, and I have been working on it this week. And I'm not going to tell y'all what it's about, but I think everybody's going to really appreciate it. Of course, it's dealing with astrology. It's dealing with a planet in particular, and that's going to be my first book. And I'm probably going to publish it as an ebook first. So just stay tuned for that. But this is going to be months in the making. But I'm really trying to have this book published, I would say, by the fall of this year. And again, it'll be an ebook. It'll be available on Amazon Kindle because I'm going to go the Amazon Kindle route. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And I'm excited about it because I'm just like, when I tell you this book is going to be a game changer, all the books I write are going to be game changers. Let me tell you. All right, enough about that. Also, wait, okay. I wrote an agenda for this live stream. So I talked about the astral crosswords. All right, so here's the first question for a Taurus poll. Y'all ready? Let's see how many people I got in. Okay, good. I got about 53 people, so it's enough people to answer. So for those people that eat meat, in particular, those people that eat steak, I want to know, how do you like your steak? Do you like your steak rare? Some people like it blue rare, which is like rare, rare. Do you like it rare? Do you like it medium rare? Medium, medium well, or well done? You can type your answer in the comment section or in the chat. Let me see. I think YouTube took away the ability to do polls. Why is it saying, what's this moderator activity? What's that about? Oops, I hope I didn't click on the wrong thing. Oh no. Okay. Yeah, I don't think they have polls anymore. But yeah, I'm curious. I'll tell you my steak journey. So at this point in my life, I eat my steak medium. I used to eat it medium well. As a child, I was eating it well done. And then I had to get educated later on in life. And then I started eating it medium well. I would say up as from my like late teens to 40s. And then one day, I think I was watching some type of YouTube channel and I was like, okay, next time I'm going to try medium for a steak. And when I tell you medium is the best for me, you know, everybody has different tastes and preferences. Taurus rules tastes and preferences, by the way. So I found that medium doneness is the best. I'm just like, because it has that pink inside, but it's not raw, but it's still nice and juicy, and it's done enough for me. So let me see what y'all are saying. A lot of y'all are saying medium well. So let's see. Kauai said medium well. Annie said well done. Water said medium well. Tyrell said well done. TW said medium well. Tamara said medium well. Renee, medium well. Queen of Diamonds said, well done, burn my damn meat. Tiana said, I need my steak fully cooked, no red, but still tender and juicy. Siobhan said, medium well. Ellie said, hey, Ellie. Max said, medium well. Blazing said, medium well. Now, for all of y'all who wrote medium well, I challenge you the next time you go to a steakhouse, order it medium and come back and tell me how you liked it. Because if you like medium well steak, you might like medium. And I notice a lot of people, they don't really pay attention to that medium doneness. It's either medium rare or medium well, but try medium. I'm telling you, it's going to change your life. And it's not bloody at all. It's not like you're going to see a lot of red up in there. Okay, we got some mediums up in here. Yeah, Jane. Jane, you like medium like me. Lola likes medium. Yeah, I feel like medium, that's the perfect doneness. All right. So y'all can continue to answer that poll, those who have come in. Again, my question was, how do you like your steak? Next, my question number 2 is, name a food that you refuse to eat, especially like a food that your parents forced on you growing up. What food, or it could even be like a few foods, what foods do you like absolutely cannot stand? You will refuse to eat. Ellie said it's juicy with no blood or myoglobin. The arrow said I retired red meat. So again, the question is, name a food or foods that you refuse to eat, that you absolutely hate. Queen of Diamonds, I'm right there with you. I hate Brussels sprouts. So you hate Brussels sprouts like I do. I was forced to eat them as a kid, and as an adult, I avoid them like the plague. I don't care how they're cooked. Kauai, you said peas. I don't like peas either, but I can eat peas, but I don't like them. Annie said liver. I think I tried liver once as a child and I didn't like it. So I don't think. Abu said cottage cheese. I don't think I've ever tried cottage cheese and I don't think I want to. Prince Diamond said pork. I grew up not eating pork because of my religion, but then later on in life, once I got a taste of how bacon tastes, I was like, oh my God, I see what people mean about bacon. Like bacon is so freaking good. But I don't eat stuff like I don't eat ham, I don't eat pork chops, but bacon, I'll fuck some bacon up. Chitterlings. I never tried chitterlings and I never will. You said fried eggs and wheat tina. I was eating wheat tina growing up, right on cream of wheat. But you don't like fried eggs? I love fried eggs, especially like on an egg sandwich. Mac, you said peanut butter. Siobhan, absolutely no liver. Kiki, you said medium well. Prince Diamond said pork. Ellie said pig feet or neck. Yeah, I could never eat pig feet or the neck or the ears. Tyrell said anything southern. What? Anything southern? Are you serious? TW said potato salad or stuff. I love potato salad and stuffing. Icy Kitty said I refuse to eat pig feet, chitlins. Blazing said beets, spinach, pork, sprouts, and corn, unless it's on the cob. Damn, I love me some corn. Let's see. Lola said liver and chitterlings. I've never tried chitterlings and I never will. I never tried oysters either. I don't think I ever would. Watermink said raw oysters or any uncooked seafood. Jane said peas. Blazing said chitlins and buttermilk. What's wrong with buttermilk? You don't like buttermilk fried chicken? You don't like buttermilk pancakes? Kauai said tripe. I've never tried tripe. Prince Diamond said turkey bacon. Now you put a face that made it look like you like turkey bacon. So do you like it or do you not? Because this is about foods that you don't like. Tamarius said, "Oh, pig's feet are awful. Cottage cheese and peaches is delicious." Shell said, "Sauerkraut, liver, pork. I love me some sauerkraut, especially on a hot dog." Tamarius said, "I don't care for corn either." What? Corn. Abu said, "I don't like tilapia." I'm gonna tell you what fish I don't like and I'm sick of. Salmon. Salmon could go to hell. I feel like they overdo salmon in restaurants. That's the main fish you can find in grocery stores. I'm more about the white fish instead of like some big old thick pink fish. Tyrell said, I grew up on convenience foods. My parents never forced me to eat anything. I was spoiled. Oh my God, you malnutrition boy. Oh, sorry. So I hope you were making some healthy choices though. Annie said, lobster or shrimp, no can do. I'm not a big fan of lobster, but I love me some shrimp. Lilu said, why do you never do monthly general readings? You will have so many followers. You know, that's a good question. But I had decided long ago that I didn't want to be like other astrologers where they're saying, okay, here's your reading, Cancers, here's your readings, Leo, because, you know, everybody's chart is different. And I never wanted to make those sweeping generalizations. But what I do on my Patreon, I don't do monthly horoscopes, but I do a tarot card of the week. And those tarot cards of the week, they are so accurate. So if you want to, you know, sign up for my Patreon and get that. Now, what I could do, because I am about trying to give people what they want. So what I could do something maybe every month for the signs, and not so much where it's a forecast, but maybe I could give you some guidance and talk about, you know, what you possibly could be going through. But I don't want to do those and mind you, I would get bored, honestly, because I hate doing things that are tedious, and I feel like having to do that every month would be tedious. But I don't know. I'll take your question into I'll think about it and we'll see. Because I'm all about evolving. I'm all about giving the people what they want. So yeah. All right, let's see. Somebody said white fish holds the seasoning better. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. And it just tastes cleaner. Kauai, I got a story about prune juice. When I was young, when I was a little girl, I used to deal with constipation issues. And my dad, he used to start making me drink prune juice at night. He would call me to the refrigerator and he would pour me a glass of prune juice and he would have a tall glass and we would drink it together. And it was so gross, so disgusting, but that shit worked. All right, let's see what else. Okay, so that's the other question. I got one more question before we get into the main topic. Um, okay. Here's a question about, okay, I got two more questions. Third question is, have you ever dined and dashed? Dine and dash means you're eating at a restaurant and you get up and leave before paying, without paying. I got a story about that. So I never dined and dashed voluntarily. It was forced upon me. So this was when I was like probably like 17. And I went out on a date with this dude. He wasn't even in my high school. I don't know how I met him or whatever, but we went out on a date He took me to this restaurant called Chi Chi's. I don't know if y'all remember, people my age or older or a little younger, you might remember this Mexican restaurant. It was called Chi Chi's. It was a chain restaurant. I loved it. I wish they would have never closed down. But anyway, we're sitting there, we're eating. I ordered the enchilada. I'm almost certain I ordered the enchiladas back then because I love me some enchiladas. And when it was time for the bill to come, the dude gave the guy it was like a credit card that didn't have any money on it, a maxed out credit card. Maybe it wasn't even his. And he gives the guy a credit card and he's like, come on, let's go. And I'm like, what? He's like, come on, let's go. And then in the parking lot, he's like, I gave the guy a fake card. And I was pissed. I was like, no, you didn't. Because, that could have been us both going to jail if we would have got caught. But do you think I was going to go back in there and pay? I was like, no. That was on him. Again, he was taking me out. All right, let's see. Anybody ever died and dashed up in here? Right? You see the title, Lilu? All right. So all of y'all are goodies. Y'all never did anything bad. So you never know. That's good. Don't dine and dash. That's not right. But yeah. So Kawhi said no, but me, my mother, and my sister got a free pizza from Pizza Hut before in the 90s. Oh wow. Now I didn't dine and dash voluntarily, but I shouldn't even say that. I'll just say this because it's been so many years ago. But at my first job was at Little Caesars. It was when I was 15. And I actually lied about my age so that I could start working because you had to be 16. And back then you could forge a lot of shit. Like you could make up a lot of shit because the computers weren't all, they weren't sophisticated back then. So if you wanted to like make some shit up, you could. So I was able to make it seem like I was 16 instead of 15. So again, first job, Little Caesars. After working there for about a year, I was able to figure out how to take a little money off the top. See, this is my sun conjunct Neptune with Pisces intercepted in the second. I used to be a petty thief. So, and my thing was I would never steal from people, I would steal from companies. Like there was this convenience store on the East Coast called Wawa. And me and my best friend, once we learned how to, take stuff out of there, I remember I would just go there after school, just get my soda. And the thing with that is you would always have to buy something. You don't just go into a store and just take stuff and walk out. You got to actually buy something so you don't look suspicious. So, yeah, I remember. But at Little Caesars, once I figured out, like, oh, if I do this, because once I got on the cashier, this was a dangerous thing for somebody like me, putting me on cashier. Once I got on the cashier and I figured out, oh, if I do this, I can make it look like this is a voided transaction and I could just take the cash. Or I forget exactly how I did it, but I was just taking $20 here, $20 there, $20 there, and never got caught. So I'm not encouraging nobody to do what I did. And again, back when I was doing it, this was a different day. This was like 1990. This was back in the day when you could get away with that shit. Nowadays, I'm just so glad I did my dirt before these police cam videos and YouTube and social media was out there, because I would have been on one of those videos probably. Oh my God. I'm just glad I was born when I was, because none of my dirt's on the internet where you could see me on camera doing some crazy stuff. And I did have some freak out moments as when I was younger too, like going off on some dude in KFC because he got my order wrong. And when you lived it, like I used to live in Philly, and you got to have a certain mentality there. And I remember beefing with some people, a taxi cab driver, because he tried to stiff me for my change, and I remember like threatening him, and yeah, it was terrible. But that's that. And then the fourth question I have for you guys, this one's about money. So, what would you do if you found $500 in a wallet that belonged to someone you hate? Let's say it's a coworker, you hate them and you hate their guts. Let's say that they went to the manager and snitched on you over something, and they're trying to give you a hard time. They're trying to make your job a living hell, right? So let's say one day You find a wallet. Let's say you're in the bathroom, you find a wallet. It's $500 cash up in there, and you see the ID. You see it's the wallet of the coworker that you hate. Would you take that $500 and leave that wallet where it lies, or would you be the good Samaritan and give them that wallet with the 500 in there? Abu said, I'm returning it. Mind you, Abu, this is somebody that you hate, and this is somebody that has tried to sabotage your job. You got to keep that in mind before you answer that question. Me, oh God, that would be a hard one. Because again, if I don't like the person, they already did me dirty, and I saw their wallet in the bathroom, I think I would take the money and just leave the wallet where it lied. And I'd be like, that's payback for you being a bitch. I think that's what I would do. See, all y'all got good morals. I'm terrible. Kawhi said, still return it because I don't want bad karma. See, I would take it being like that's their karma. I'd be like that. I would look at it as that's the universe giving me some money in exchange for having to deal with such a messed up coworker. Naru said, not gonna lie, if they did me dirty, right? That's the catch. They would have had to do me dirty first. If they never did anything wrong to me, I would have definitely returned it. TW said, no, keeping the cash and giving the info out. Frolux said, the money is dirty. Is he? Okay, let me up the ante. For those who are saying no, what if you're on hard times, right? Rent is due. You don't have all the rent money. Let's say you're 500. No. Let's say you are $300 short on your rent. Again, you're going through hard times. You're $300 short on your rent. You don't know how you're going to come up with the rent. You don't get paid until next week, but rent is due tomorrow. You see that wallet on the bathroom floor, $500 cash up in there. It's a coworker you hate. What would you do? Rent got to be paid. You mean to tell me you're going to leave that money there and just face eviction? Now, Izzy said, nah, that's a test. But see, the older I get, the more I'm realizing that being nice don't get you nowhere. Playing by the rules all the time doesn't get you anywhere. And just when you think you're going to do the right thing, that coworker is still going to shit on you. That coworker is still going to do you dirty. Kawhi says she's still going to return it. Ellie said, I will take it no matter if I'm struggling or not. Christian said, keep the money. Tyrell said, now in that case, I'm going to take it. Because couldn't you say, like, again, let's say with the scenario that you're late paying the rent or, rent is due, you don't have enough for the rent. Couldn't you look at that as that's the universe blessing you through that person? I might want to look at it like that. Like, hey, what if you even prayed? What if you prayed to the Almighty the night before and you said, God, you said, whatever you could do to help me, I need to pay my rent tomorrow. I don't have it all. And then you go into work the next day and you find that wallet on the bathroom floor. I would be like, my prayers have been answered, especially once I saw it was from that coworker that I couldn't stand, that did me dirty. I would probably think about it first, but then I'd be like, you know what? I was praying to God last night. The Lord does work in mysterious ways. Maybe I need to go ahead and take this. Bree said, nice people finish last. Ain't that the truth? It's the truth. And I agree, Ellie. I would say the same thing. I'm just saying this is my payback. I'd be like, these are my blessings. God done bless me. And I would also take I'd be like, maybe they don't need that money that much if they're not really looking after their money like that. Shoot. And then you know what? If you feel guilty later, you can always pay it forward. You can, be like, hey, I got you, got you a gift card, $20. No, let me stop. All right. So enough is enough. Let's get into the main topic. But before I do that, I do got to share with y'all a personal milestone in my life. Knock on wood. Let's hope that things don't revert back to the way they were. But I've been waiting for this moment for so long. Because I've been waiting for this for so long. Yes. So this is the month where I officially enter menopause. So the way it works, and I don't know if y'all remember, I did a video about my struggles with perimenopause. I think that was like 3 or 4 years ago. And they say, the doctors say, if you go a whole year without a visit from Aunt Flo, you are officially in menopause. And May, this month, marks a whole year since that bitch, Aunt Flo, has come and paid me a visit. And when I tell you I am on top of the world because I had horrible cycles, just horrible. So, for y'all ladies out there that are suffering through it, I'm just telling you, life can get better. It gets better. There are benefits to getting older. I feel like I've been given, a new lease on life. It's just wonderful. Now I am going through, the symptoms of menopause and all that. That sucks. But I've been doing some things to help ease the symptoms, so that's been working. So yeah, I'm just so ecstatic. I'm just so elated that I'm at this point in my life where I don't have to worry about that stuff no more. Thank you, Naru. Because yeah, it was a long, hard road. It was so bad that there'd be months where, I mean, it would be like every month when that cycle would hit, I would have to take a couple of days off because I'd be in so much pain. And the PMS was absolutely horrible, horrendous, because I got my moon and ascendant in Capricorn squaring my Pluto in Libra. The PMS was bad. It would get to the point like where I would think about death all the time. I didn't want to be here. I would feel like such a loser. I would think about all the bad things that have happened in my life, all of my bad decisions. Like the PMS was crippling. I don't even think it was PMS I had. I think it was PMDD. Because when I tell you like those, I don't even want to say you know the S word, idol ideations, yes, they would come visit me every month that I would have that PMDD. And the good thing is, at least I knew what it was, or else, I might have had to go on medication for depression. But yeah, I am so glad I don't have to deal with that shit anymore. It was just absolutely hell. Kawhi, I never been checked out for that, but I wouldn't be surprised if I did have at least a fibroid, or I used to always think I had endometriosis. So I wouldn't be surprised. Oh yes, everything, Lilu. Everything that deals with your life you could see in your natal chart. Yes. But yeah, I was like at the point where I was ready to get a hysterectomy. But yeah, thank God I'm here. I'm alive. All right, let's get into this Mr. Man. Let me share my screen. Ever since I learned of Shannon Sharpe, I never like cared for him. And I don't even know much about him. Wait, let me share my screen. I don't even know much about him, but I remember just saying, I could tell he's on the dark side. I could just tell. So when this story came out, I wasn't surprised. I was not surprised at all. All right. Black Pearl, precious little girl. All right, let me take this off. I hope I can minimize this. Okay, good. Yes, I got two screens now thanks to my oldest daughter. So I can look at the chat while I don't got to look on my phone anymore. So this is what's up. All right. So let me wait till this comes up. So Shannon Sharpe, I'm going to give him the classification of dark-sided cancer because of the stories that have come out as of late. And when I looked at his chart, I was like, yeah, he fits the bill for a dark-sided cancer. Now, do you see what I have right here? I found this little quote in the when I was looking at images about crabs, right? No, I think I actually was looking for quotes dealing with crabs, right? And I found this, and I was like, this is so on point. You see, it says you cannot teach a crab to walk straight. And that's true for crabs in general. Cancer, cancer is the crab. And basically, when you liken that to Cancer, the sign, people, it basically means Cancer is very subjective. Cancer basically will do things that are based upon feeling instead of logic. Now, I'm not saying all cancers are like this, but this is just how the sign itself operates. It operates on feeling and not logic. And it does what it is accustomed and comfortable to do. Hence, you cannot teach a crab to walk straight because that's not how they're built. They walk sideways simply because that's what feels natural to them, even though it doesn't look right to us. So Shannon Sharpe, he's on the dark side of Cancer, and you could tell him, just like how Monique told him on his Club Shay Shay when he interviewed her on Club Shay Shay. She was trying to tell him, she was trying to school him. She was like, Shannon, you need to just find yourself a woman that's your age and settle down and, have her cooking you some soul food and stuff like that. But you could talk to Shannon until he's blue in the face and none of it's going to compute. None of it's going to make sense because, again, if it don't feel right to him, he ain't going to do it. He does what feels right to him. Now, let me play this video real quick. I'm just going to play a little snippet of it. But this is one of the best videos that I've heard about Shannon so far. Actually, before I play the video, let me just read about this story real quick that has been circulating in the news. So it says Shannon Sharpe is off ESPN amid $50 million sexual assault investigation. This is via Yahoo Sports. ESPN star Shannon Sharpe was recently celebrating the news that his podcast business was so booming that he was in receipt of a $100 million business deal. But the celebration was short-lived as he, in the next breath, announced that he is stepping away from television as he defends himself against a sexual assault accusation. The $50 million lawsuit stems from a relationship Sharpe, 56, had with a 19-year-old woman. A tryst, Sharpe claims, was entirely consensual. My statement is found here, and this is the truth, his post began. The relationship in question was 100% consensual. At this juncture, I am electing to step aside temporarily from my ESPN duties. I will be devoting this time to my family and responding and dealing with these false and disruptive allegations set against me. I plan to return to ESPN at the start of the NFL's preseason. ESPN, which aired Sharpe on First Take Monday and Tuesday, quickly confirmed his decision. ESPN responded to the former Baltimore Ravens tight end circumstance. This is a serious situation, and we agree with Shannon's decision to step away, they said. This isn't Sharpe's first time facing troubling allegations. According to FOS, Sharpe was accused of sexual assault in 2010 while with CBS. During his time with Fox Sports, he eventually settled an accusation of choking a woman who was a production assistant on Undisputed for 6 figures. Although a lawsuit was not filed and the official number was not released. So this isn't his first rodeo. Sharpe spent 2 seasons with the Ravens, winning a Super Bowl in 2000 and making the Pro Bowl in 2001. He totaled 140 catches for 1,621 yards and 7 touchdowns in that span. Who cares? The ordeal comes just months removed from Ravens kicker Justin Tucker being accused by several Baltimore area massage therapists of sexual misconduct. Sharpe maintains that his case is a matter of blackmail. At least for now, he won't be addressing this or any other topics on ESPN's airwaves. Okay. So that's that. Let me go back to this. Siobhan said, I've never been able to date a guy with a feminine like name. Well, let me tell you this story, Siobhan. My first teenage love. Oh my God. He was the love of my life as a teenager. And then I outgrew him. It was terrible the way I had to let him down, the way I had to break up with him. He was just crying. He was a Cancer, speaking of Cancers. His first name was Kimberly. Yes, Kimberly. Wasn't that crazy? But anyway, yeah, it didn't matter to me. But yeah, he was the apple of my eye until he spent time in juvie and I outgrew him. All right, so let's get into it. So I have some more information. Let's see. Another woman accuses Shannon Sharpe of sex assault in defamation lawsuit. Make it so no other man would want me. Mm. So let's read about this real quick. A woman suing Shannon Sharpe for alleged defamation also alleges in the complaint that the NFL Hall of Famer sexually assaulted her in 2010. Michelle Evans filed suit against Sharpe in New York in 2023, nearly 2 years before another woman, suing under the name Jane Doe, accused Sharpe of assaulting her, R-ing her. Gotta be careful using that word on YouTube. In a lawsuit filed in Nevada earlier this week, Sharpe has strongly denied the allegations in the Nevada lawsuit, claiming that the relationship had been consensual and called the lawsuit a shakedown. In the New York complaint obtained by People, Evans, who is representing herself, claims that she had been in a relationship with Sharpe for nearly a decade, ending in 2010, when she says they got in an argument over his alleged infidelity. Evans alleges Sharpe then requested that the two have sex and that she refused. The defendant proceeded to forcefully subdue me, compelling me to my knees and subsequently engaging in non-consensual oral penetration. The complaint alleges. Despite my protest, he persisted in this violation. See, this is where, and this is what I'm talking about. You can't teach a crab how to walk straight. So you see how these women are basically saying, yeah, we were in a consensual relationship in the beginning, but at one point he became abusive and forced himself on me. But Shannon, he's just resting on the whole, oh, it was consensual. It was consensual. Once he gets it in his mind, oh, it's consensual, then he feels like he can do whatever the fuck he wants with a woman. So again, keep that in mind. Shannon Sharpe accused of anally raping woman in lawsuit. He demanded. Evans further claims the assault continued beyond the alleged forcible oral sex. Thereafter, Shannon's coercion escalated as he maneuvered me onto the bed and achieved non-consensual vaginal penetration, all the while proclaiming his intent to make it so no other man would want me, Evans alleges. Though Evans is not suing Sharpe for sexual assault, she claims he threatened to ruin her reputation and that the ensuing media commentary was rife with defamatory commentary assailing my professional reputation. In a statement to Page 6, a representative for Shannon denied Evans' allegations. Michelle Evans' claims are ridiculous and completely without merit, the representative reportedly said. The proceedings in Evans' civil case are still ongoing, though a judge did deny her request for an order of protection. In the wake of the lawsuit filed by Jane Doe, Sharpe announced that he was stepping away from his job at ESPN while reiterating his denial of the accusations. My statement is found here, and this is the truth, Shannon said in a statement. The relationship in question was 100% consensual. In a statement sent to People on Friday, April 25th, Mitchell Schuster, an attorney for Sharpe, wrote in part, "It should be of no surprise that when someone famous is in the news, all sorts of people crawl out of the woodwork to share their connection to that person in an attempt to profit from that alleged relationship. In many cases, those stories or accusations are nothing more than old news, fanciful exaggerations, or sometimes blatant misrepresentations of fact. They are shared on social media or fed to reporters with intentional factual omissions and no regard for the truth. This is obviously purposeful, designed to create a fabricated narrative. This is exactly what is happening to Shannon Sharpe, and the resurrection of the case involving Michelle Evans is a perfect example." The statement adds, when she could not find a lawyer to pursue her outrageous story, she filed a civil complaint on her own that is completely devoid of merit. The fact is that Shannon has had no contact with this person for many years. My thing is, can I sue some of my exes? I wish I could, but they don't have money like that, I don't think. So, yeah, if I could sue some of my exes for being abused and mistreated and other things, I would too. especially if there's no statute of limitations on this. All right, so let me play this video before I get into his chart. I'm not going to play the whole video. I'm just going to play a little snippet of it because I like the way this woman discusses this case. It's from the channel MVMO, and it's titled, "What I've Uncovered About Shannon Sharpe Will Shock You."
So if you're like me, you too thought that there was only one woman suing Shannon Sharpe. But I want you to know I've uncovered that that's not true. There's actually another woman who is suing Shannon right now as we speak, to my knowledge. When I say her name, some of you will recognize it. So a few years back, an ex-girlfriend of Shannon's by the name of Michelle Bundy, she sued him for defamation in the state of New York. She had other accusations in her lawsuit. One was sexual assault, that Shannon was controlling and violent at times, allegedly threatened to kill her. Okay. But I thought that lawsuit was done with because it was so long ago. But actually, it's still going on as I speak to you. But what does that have to do with the leaked audio? Here it is. Here's the caveat. I discovered that in August of 2024, Michelle Bundy amended her lawsuit with Shannon. She updated it. She said she had new information that proved her prior allegations. And she said that these things Shannon said were actually said on, Nightcap and some other places where he works.
I'm going to speed it up.
She made it public that she updated that lawsuit on August 31st of 2024. Just 12 days later, September 11, 2024, Shannon has an oops on his Instagram, having never, ever gone live on Instagram before. And incidentally, what was the name he called out in the video? Michelle. Now, I believe that Shannon leaked the audio of the sex, whatever it was, in order to push Michelle up off of him.
Remember, last year, Shannon Sharpe had leaked that sex video. It was just an audio clip, but basically you could kind of hear him having sex with somebody on the video. So that's what she's talking about right now.
I believe it was a shot across her bow to let her know, I got stuff, don't play with me. Now, why would Michelle update her lawsuit in August? What's so special about August? Well, it's actually kind of what's happening now. In June of 2024, as most of you know, Shannon got a big blessing. ESPN was so pleased with his work, they renewed his contract in June. We learned in the media it was for a multi-year contract, the biggest renewal he's gotten since he left the field. Shannon was going to be making buku money. Well, I'm not saying that Shannon didn't do the things that Michelle alleged he did, but I think 1 + 1, at least that I'm aware of, still equals 2. So it's no secret, or it should be no surprise, that just a few weeks later, after that news broke, she went down to the courthouse in New York and she amended her suit, of course, saying there's new information and she wants more money. I do believe, guys, this was a get back at Michelle. This was a back up. One of the things that we've seen that's very similar to Michelle's original lawsuit and Gabby's current lawsuit is that they say that Shannon recorded things. And so Shannon, no doubt, if he's the depraved human being these women are making him out to be, he may have a cadre of recordings that he has. Now, I want to spend a little bit of time on the recording, okay? Now, remember the predominant thought. So predominant doesn't mean everyone thought it, just the majority. The majority of us thought the reason that he leaked it, those of us who thought he leaked it and it wasn't an accident, was because he wanted to stave off the gay rumors. Now, this didn't hurt it, of course, right? But I think it was more than that, y'all. I think it was much deeper than that. Now, I brought to some of your attention last year when we talked about the leaked audio is that if you're not a content creator, there's something you don't know about these platforms, be it YouTube or Instagram or even Facebook, is that you can go live without actually being live. Tons of people do this. This is why these social media companies have done a great job making being a social media influencer or a content creator very, very easy to do, because if you have a job and you have a family, you can just pre-record some stuff. I know people who do this. They pre-record a bunch of stuff and then they set it to go live. Like I could right now record something and go on YouTube and schedule it to come out to you live next month. And unless I said to you that I recorded it a month before, you would have no way of knowing that. So a lot of people don't know that you can do that on Instagram. So I still don't believe that was actually live. I believe, as I said then, and I'm now even more solidified in it, I believe this was just one of his many recordings and he uploaded that thing and made it go live. Or he had someone to help him maybe, I don't know. I don't think this had anything to do with the gay rumors.
Let me fast forward because she says this one part that I haven't heard anybody else talk about, and it has a lot to do with what's in his chart. Hold on.
50 million? Multiples of 10 million? So this really is over for Shannon, because any employer is going to want to know, if you're saying here that you didn't do these things and that this was truly a sexually consensual relationship, why would you have offered her tens of millions of dollars to not, file her lawsuit? Why would you have offered her to settle? But here's another bombshell I have for you that I uncovered in my research. Did you know that Shannon has been sued 24 times and he settled 23 out of the...
Okay, that part. He's been sued 24 times and he's settled 23.
24 lawsuits? Mm-hmm.
Let me rewind.
Dollars to not, file her lawsuit. Why would you have offered her to settle? But here's another bombshell I have for you that I uncovered in my research. Did you know that Shannon has been sued 24 times and he settled 23 out of the 24 lawsuits? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now I'll let you go do. All right, I gotta skip forward to this part real quick. Let me just, because I want to show y'all something. Just 1 second. Get rid of this. So she said he's been sued how many times? How many times did she say he was sued? Hold up. Hey, I'm waiting for this to show up. All right, how many times? It's 24. Yes, you were listening, Kawhi. She said he was sued for 24 times, right? And then he settled 23. Let me just play that again. But here's another bombshell I have for you that I uncovered in my research. Did you know that Shannon has been sued 24 times and he settled 23 out of the 24 lawsuits? All right. And this is how you know this shit is real. So in his chart, he has Neptune at the 24th degree of Scorpio. That Neptune, deals with secrets, deals with hidden. Scorpio can deal with payouts of money. So when you got Neptune at the 24th degree of Scorpio, you could look at that as hush money. Venus, 23rd degree. 23 settled. 24 lawsuits. This is basically showing this latest one is going to be the nail in the coffin for him. Eventually your luck is going to run out. That's all I'm saying. There's a quincunx between his Mercury at the 23rd degree and Neptune in Scorpio. So that quincunx right there is pointing to that issue. All right. All right, so let's get into his numerology. But so Siobhan, you said it went from a shakedown to an expose. So this is where, with my Venus and Libra, I got to be fair and balanced. So I am seeing signs in his chart that there could actually be a shakedown. Oh yeah, that's Saturn 24 degrees area. Yup. There could be a shakedown. It does show up in his chart. So I'm not saying that everything these women are saying is totally accurate. I believe most of what they're saying is accurate, but I wouldn't be surprised if there is a shakedown too, because he's making all this money now, with this whole Tony Busby being the attorney. So let's get into his numerology. So his birth number is a 26. That breaks down to 8. And 26 can produce karmic induced partnerships. And, we're talking about partnerships of all kinds. So it could be romantic partnerships, it could be business partnerships, and so forth. We just know with him being a 26, he got to be careful of who he partners up with. Reputation, 8.
deals with one's reputation. Reputation could hinge upon his relationships with women. Why? Because he's a Cancer. So when you combine that 26-8 number with Cancer energy, yes, your reputation could be on the line dealing with women. Now, this can produce successful business ventures, which he has benefited from. And also, somebody had already mentioned this, that he seems soft. And that's exactly what this 26/8 can produce, where you're hard on the outside, that's that 8, but you're soft on the inside, that's that 2 and 6. More about that in a minute. His life path number is 11, which breaks down into 2, and 11 often produces internal and external conflicts. A lot of times the person is conflicted within themselves, but then they can also have a lot of conflicts with other people, especially women. So conflicts with women in particular, because that 2 energy is Cancer energy, so that just reinforces his Cancer energy. Conflicts with women beginning with the mother. And racial conflict, because Cancer and the number 2 rules race. So if we're dealing with this 11 energy, because it's the 11 that produces the conflict, not 2 itself, but 11 will produce that conflict, and it can include racial conflict. And he was basically accusing that attorney, Tony Busby, of basically going after him because he's a successful Black man. Interference from third parties, that's what that 11 can produce. So in this case, it would be Tony Busby, but you could also look at these girls that are filing these complaints, filing these lawsuits. He might look at that as interference from third parties with him and ESPN. And I'm sorry, I just look at this man's face. Sometimes you can judge a book by its cover. You really can. He has one of those, okay, it's going to be hard for me to just be, what's the word? Respectful. But I don't know if y'all know this, but there's certain features on men that can basically show that they're more on the primitive end, if you get what I mean, like more on the caveman like type of energy. And he has one of those faces where you can tell he's still dealing with a lot of primitive masculine energy. You get what I'm saying? Like, you can't consider this man to be a man of refinement. I'll say that. Bill Cosby had a similar look, if you get what I mean. And Bill, let me stop. And Bill Cosby, he's a Cancer. Javon said that face is as grimy as his economy, right? I'm just saying, he got that type of face where it's like you can kind of see that the man, he's still rough around the edges. Like he hasn't evolved into like, a modern man. Shabbat said he has a face of a Neanderthal. Christiane said Miss Nettie, oh God. That looked like that could be Miss Netta's son. Like, damn. But yeah, let me be nice. No, he don't deserve niceness. He don't deserve my kindness. Okay, so unfortunately, they don't have his birth time listed anywhere. So I have to just go off on his signs and the aspects. But he does have a Cancer stellium that includes his moon, Venus, Sun, and Mars. So when I say you cannot teach a crab how to walk straight, especially if they got a Cancer stellium like that, including Venus, Mars, and the moon, like that's crazy. And then he has Mercury in Gemini, Black Moon Lilith at the 0 degree of Gemini. Makes me think of those texts. Saturn, 24th degree of Aries. There's that 24 again, like Jane pointed out. North node, 14th degree. South node, 14th. Let me tell y'all about that 14th degree. He better be careful because there is a chance he could do some time. He could do some time in jail or prison just having that 14th degree in his chart, and just off of some of these charges that are coming or allegations that are coming up. So he better be careful because that 14th degree can produce challenges with movement. And I've seen it show up in plenty of people's charts who have spent time in prison. Either it'll be their birth number 14 or it'll be some planet at the 14th degree. And especially when your nodes are at the 14th degree, you got to be careful what you do because you could end up behind bars. Pluto and Uranus in Virgo. I might do a video about that conjunction, Uranus conjunct Pluto and Virgo, and what that produced. But one of the main things that it produced was the sexual revolution, right? Remember, this conjunction was in effect during those hippie years when everybody was all about free love and stuff like that. You see, he was born in 68, so this was like the height of that whole free love. I'm just gonna let it hang loose. And everything's groovy and shit, and let's do some, threesomes and foursomes and have group sex and communal living and all that type of stuff. So that shit is ingrained in him, that type of energy to be, freak nasty like that. Now, I'm not saying everybody with Uranus conjunct Pluto is freak nasty, but this is basically where freak nastiness became more pervasive in society through that conjunction right there. And then he got Jupiter in Virgo, Chiron in Aries. All right, here we go. Angry crab. Let me see what y'all are saying. Very hard skin looking. Izzy says, so true about the features. Just be said a trigonometry head down. Tiger Lily said almost too masculine. Exactly. And that's just showing you that Cancer energy does not always come across as looking feminine. He could be very masculine and have all that Cancer energy. You say, I wonder if he's an Aquarius rising with that schnauzer. He might be. You never know. Now look at this picture right here. This is another thing we need to keep. Hey, wait. What happened? Okay. This is another thing we need to keep in mind about men, ladies, and gay men out there. Look, it's okay to be up in the gym and all that stuff. But I was talking to my daughter about this the other day. I was like, you got to be careful about these guys that like to be ripped like this. Now, granted, he was in the NFL. I get it. You got to work out. You got to stay in shape and all that type of stuff. But one of the signs of a narcissist is somebody that, they have to have the perfect body. They always, they got to have the six pack. They got to have the big guns like that and stuff. And if you think about it, the average woman, she don't care about a man having a six pack. Y'all tell me if I'm wrong. But I know for myself and the women I've talked to over the years, that's not a big deal for us. Like, he doesn't have to be ripped. He doesn't have to look like a bodybuilder. So what I've learned, and my dad was the one who put me onto this many years ago when I was a child. A lot of times when these men like to spend a lot of time in the gym, and he likes to spend a lot of time in the mirror simply because he got that Cancer stellium, and Cancer is the mirror. A lot of times that means that they're attracted to what they're looking at in the mirror. They're attracted to men. So Shannon, I consider him to be what is called a somatic narcissist. And somatic narcissists, they can be the type, even if they say that they're straight, they could still flirt with homosexuality. Why? Because they get that narcissistic supply. Any way they could get that narcissistic supply, they're going to get it. So if they could get it from gay men, in addition to getting it from women, they going to get it. They going to get it. They going to get that dick. Oh, let me stop. I'm thinking about that movie Jungle Fever. I don't know. He got me thinking about the movie Jungle Fever for some reason. Why? Y'all saw when I posted the notification earlier, it was that clip from Jungle Fever. But anyway, let's get into this. So again, he got that Cancer stellium. He got that moon. I forgot to add, let me add the moon in there because I was really focused. I'm really focused on Venus, Sun, and Mars in particular. So let's just keep it here. We'll get into that moon in a minute. But let's just focus on the fact that his Venus is conjoined to his Sun and Mars. And the Sun sits right between his Venus and Mars. So this Cancer energy echoes his life path number of 11, which breaks down to 2. And this basically shows his life centers on up close and personal relationships. Just like when he's interviewing these people on his club Shay Shay, podcast. These interviews are very up close and personal. The most popular one so far has been the interview he did with Cat Williams. That was a very up close and personal interview, right? They're drinking cognac, Hennessy, or whatever. They're, just laid back, talking like they're friends, buddies, and stuff like that. So that up close and personal, very Cancer. Nothing wrong with that. But because Mars is in the mix, and even just having Sun conjunct Venus as a man, with it being in Cancer, that can show that he is a womanizer. And then with Mars in Cancer alone, you can look at that as the potential for violence directed towards women. And he has the potential to be a woman beater. And again, that's just off of having Mars in Cancer alone. When you add that Sun and Venus, it just exacerbates it. Also, homosexual tendencies. Cancer is one of the signs that can represent a homosexual male when Mars is in that sign. So Mars in Cancer can play out as a gay male. Now, is Shannon totally gay? No, we know he's not because he's been with women. But he does have homosexual tendencies nonetheless. But I would venture to say, because of the stellium, Venus, Sun, and Mars in Cancer, that he's pansexual. He's down for whatever. And he doesn't care what's under the hood. I don't think he really cares. There's some men out there like that. There's just some people general like that. They just, they don't have these strong preferences like, oh, it has to be a woman and she has to be a biological woman. He's the type that I think he gets off on anybody that, is making his dick hard. And like, if it's a man, if it's a woman, but it's really a biological male, he'll still go with it. If it's an effeminate gay man, he'll still go with it. He down for whatever because, again, I look at him as being hypersexual. And if we're talking about men, Mars in Cancer can produce a preference for effeminate gay men. Do y'all remember when he was hanging tough with his stylist? And his stylist was an effeminate gay man. And that's when the rumors started circulating about his sexuality. So, preference for effeminate gay men and perhaps trans women. Now, Mars in Cancer could be a trans woman as well because Mars is man and Cancer is women. So you could say, Mars in Cancer, that could be a man in a dress, or a man that has breasts, or a man that once acts like a woman. Now, I would say that he's not a bottom. If we're talking about homosexual preferences, I would say he's not a bottom. He's a top. He likes to penetrate. He don't like to get penetrated. And also narcissistic energy. So again, I'm calling him a narcissist simply because he has these conjunctions right here, Venus, Sun, and Mars, and they're closely conjoined. Narcissistic energy, but especially coming from that Sun conjunct Mars. But because it's Cancer, he's able to come across as warm and endearing. And this is why people started calling him Unk. Unk. Oh, that's Unk. And that's why people were all shocked when this scandalous news came out about him. They were like, not Unk, not him. Because I don't know, a lot of people were fooled by that Cancer energy thinking he was a great guy, but I never saw him as this good guy. I always knew something was up with this dude. So again, I'm calling him a somatic narcissist. A somatic narcissist, let me actually pull up the definition. I know what it is, but let me read it. Let me read the official definition real quick. There's two main types of narcissists. You have somatic narcissists and you have cerebral narcissists. We know he's not intelligent, so we got to go with somatic. Let's see. Oh, let me put narcissist. So it says somatic narcissists are a type of narcissist who place a significant emphasis on their physical appearance, attractiveness, and physical abilities, deriving their self-worth from these aspects. And remember, I said this is somebody who's always looking in the mirror because of that Cancer energy. So yes, he is in love with himself. I would venture to say he don't love nobody but himself. And when you're dealing with that heavy Cancer energy, it's like, if you get with him, you enter his world. Like I always say with Cancer, you're entering his world. You're not sharing a world with him. It's going to be on his terms. It's how he wants things. It's how he sees things. It's how he feels about things. And, if you get hurt in the process, oh well. Also, always admiring self in the mirror. Like I said, quick to anger, hard to calm down due to emotions. That Mars in Cancer in particular, Mars is your anger. So Mars and Cancer people, a lot of times they could take it too far when they get angry because their emotions are wound up and they don't have that logic where they could tell themselves, okay, you acting crazy right now. You need to take it down a few notches. They don't have that internal mechanism like that because their emotions are directly tied to their anger. And then again, with Cancer, life is totally subjective. You cannot teach a crab to walk straight. Explains why he didn't heed Monique's advice. Again, Monique tried to school him, was like, look, Shannon, you need to just get with a woman your age. First of all, a lot of times the women his age, they're not going to be playing those sex games that he wants to play. All right, moving along. All right, red flags. Y'all remember when I did my red flags and deal breakers series? That was a few years ago. So Shannon Sharpe has the chief red flag aspect in his chart, or I'll say one of the chief red flag aspects in his chart. He has Venus, Sun, Mars, and Cancer squaring Chiron and Aries. It's really that Sun squared Chiron that I warned y'all about when it came to dealing with men. I was like, if you see a man with Sun squared Chiron, that should be a deal breaker. Unless, he can provide a good explanation for why that square exists in his chart. Like maybe his hand got caught in a wood chipper or something like that. I don't know. But it needs to be a good reason why he has that square in his chart. If there's not a good reason, watch out because you could be dealing with a deviant personality, especially when you take the Sun and Mars squaring Chiron. So, yes, I would say he's a deviant personality. And you said, Shine Star said, how about Mars square Chiron? Well, he got that too. So the fact that he has Sun, Mars, and Venus all squaring Chiron, yes, he is hell on wheels to deal with. Now, he's probably fine as long as everything goes his way. And he can be Mr. Nice Guy as long as everything goes his way. And that's very common when you see conjunctions like that, especially with Venus and Mars in the mix. This is somebody they really can't deal with dissension. They really can't deal with, being contested or being challenged. If everything is going away the way they want it to go, oh, they could be as nice as pie. They could be some of the nicest people to deal with. But the minute you go against them, now you got hell to pay. And especially with this square involving Chiron. And also, I'm looking at this as him being an egomaniac, especially because his Sun is conjoined to Mars and it's squaring Chiron and Aries. Shine Star said, I've seen Mars square Chiron in a man and it's wicked. Mac Major said, am I a red flag? I got Mars square Chiron and the no. I would consider you a red flag, but maybe you'll get with somebody that don't see it that way. Now, I'm not saying, now I know you, Max, so I know you're not a red flag, but you got to ask yourself, what could that be? How could that play out? How could that, mess things up for me? So, but I know you're a good guy, Matt. So, of course, this isn't going to apply to everybody that has Mars square Chiron, but I am saying that's something to think about. Now, wounding. We know Chiron produces wounds, right? So we know he had a football career. This is where you have to also take into account other factors in the person's life and say, okay, this doesn't have to be all bad. It could just deal with what he was going through when he was playing football, right? So we know that there was times when he was getting wounded on the field or he was wounding other players on the field. But this also extends to the women that he deals with. So wounding women, also mistreatment of women, because we're talking about Cancer and not just Cancer. Venus is up in there too. Attracting broken, wounded women. So this right here is where I'm separating that Venus and just looking at Venus square Chiron in particular. So a man that has Venus square Chiron, he could easily attract women who are broken in some way, women who, are wounded in some way, women who have some issues, whether it's mental health issues or it could be physical issues. And then also Venus square Chiron in a man's chart can have him attracting deviant women as well. So remember, with the text that came out, one of the texts, let me see if I can find it. Shannon Sharpe text, because it was pretty bad. But some of y'all women are into this type of sex. I don't understand it, but to each his own. Let me read these texts real quick. Images. Okay. No, not that. We want the text where she's talking about the dog collar. Oh, wait. I think I have it in this slideshow. Hold on. I gotta stop share. Actually, I'll just wait till I get to it. But if y'all read the text, y'all saw what she was saying. She was saying, I want you to put a dog collar around me and choke me while you're hitting it from the back or something like that. Like that can be seen through his Venus square Chiron, like him getting with women that are like off like that are deviant themselves. But even with that being said, even if you get with a deviant woman, it doesn't make it right for you to mistreat her. It doesn't make it right for you to just force your way on her or anything like that. But in his mind, he probably thinks, oh, she's a broken woman. I could break her down further and it ain't going to matter. Also, racial conflict, cries of racism. So again, remember he was crying racism. He was basically saying Tony Busby, the attorney who filed this suit on the woman's behalf, he was basically saying, "Oh yeah, this man, he's targeting me like he targeted Diddy, and he's trying to go after successful black men." I'm like, Ninja, please. I don't think so. They always like these black men that find themselves in trouble. They always want to use that race card and make it seem like, oh, they're just trying to attack us black men. They don't want to see a black man succeed and all this stuff. I'm like, nah, you did this to yourself. And I'm going to tell you what's wrong with him too in a minute. Now, he may like to dog out white women as a way of getting back at the white man. Because remember, this is an aspect, these are squares of racial conflict, with Cancer ruling race, Aries being conflict. And with the Chiron in there, it's like him growing up, he probably experienced some horrible racism. So this is where I'm going to be a little gentle with him. And especially considering his features, and especially within the black race alone, you're going to face some like horrible ridicule and humiliation if you look a certain way growing up, like if you have a big nose or if you got big lips. Like growing up in the black community can be really hard if you don't look a certain way. Like the black kids will come for you hard. And I'm pretty sure growing up, the little black girls didn't want nothing to do with him either because they probably called him ugly. So he was probably being called ugly from an early age. So he's dealing with that from the blacks. And then when he's trying to play football, he's dealing with racism from whites. So yeah, I can see where he has some serious issues with race, where, he's been, called all types of names, ugly this, African booty scratcher, all types of stuff. Look, this shit is real. And this explain, and I'm not justifying it, but I am saying there's a reason why a lot of these men, and a lot of times you'll see it from the darker skinned black men, when they become successful, usually it's the ones that are like professional athletes, professional singers, actors. When they get older, they go after white women or basically just non-black women. Why? Because they felt like they weren't accepted by black girls when they were growing up. They tell you this. They'll come out and say it too. They'll be like, all the black girls, they call me ugly. Well, you were ugly. I'm sorry. But, you know, there's somebody out there for anybody. And again, I'm not saying I'm like love who you want. But with Shannon Sharpe, I find it to be an ulterior motive. Like you're getting with white women because you got this racial conflict. Number one, you're getting with white women because no black girl wanted you back in the day. And then number two, you're not even getting with white women that are of a high standard. You're getting with trashy white women, OnlyFans girls types of white women. You're getting with deviant types of white women that like you to put a dog collar around their neck and choke the shit out of them and all types of stuff, call them all types of trashy names and stuff. And I think it's unconscious on his part because it's his way of getting back at the white man for him having to go through all the racism, and also is his way of getting back at women, period, because of his mom. I would think him and his mom probably didn't have a good relationship when he was growing up or what have you. But yeah, there's a lot of psychological issues going on with this situation. And violations of privacy, with Cancer ruling privacy and Aries being that violation. So he'll say his privacy has been violated, but he's been violating other women's privacy by videotaping them against their will. All right, he got a T-square nightmare in his chart. Again, look at him. He got that caveman type of Neander, like somebody mentioned, Neanderthal type of look. Yes, awkward letter. Bill Cosby type of look. Cro-Magnon man type of look. Usually when you see this, this is a man that's dealing with a high level of testosterone. A lot of athletes have a high level of testosterone, and that's why they often get themselves caught up in these types of situations. He got that primitive look going on. I'm kind of scared. No, I know for real. I, he's the type of man that if I saw it, like if he was trying to take it to me, I'd be like, oh God, no. No, it wouldn't matter how much money he had. I can't do it. Because I already know what type of energy he working with. Yes, Nandy, that Green Mile look. Yes, you already know what I'm talking about. Mm-mm-mm. Okay. So Moon in Cancer squaring his Libra South node and Aries North node. So the fact that the moon is squaring the nodes shows that he got serious issues with women. So this is the lawsuits involving women, in particular the moon in Cancer squaring the Libra South node, and where his personal life is being made public. And this is again Sharpe claiming that attorney Busby is targeting him due to race. In this case, the attorney would be that Libra South node. Being rough with women, anger, violence towards women. So this is where the moon in Cancer is squaring that Aries North node. So this is very similar to the squares involving the Sun, Mars, and Venus in Cancer, and that Chiron in Aries. Now we're dealing with a T-square involving the nodes. So being rough with women, anger, violence towards women, mommy issues, comparing women to other comparing black women to other races of women in a negative manner. If my memory serves me correctly, I think he has made some statements about black women in the past that were rather derogatory or just negative. And personal business is made public, airing dirty laundry. I think I said that twice. All right, let's see what y'all are saying. Jupiter Gone Wild said, hey, Jupiter, Shannon look like he loves to be up on women. It's his kink. Yes, yes, I agree. Johanna said, no self-control always leads to trouble, right? And when you have that strong Cancer energy, especially with the Mars conjoined to the Sun and Venus, a lot of times you're not going to have that self-control. Because again, it's all about feeling. You're ruled by your feelings and your emotions. He resembles the toothpaste man from Timmy the Tooth. I'm done. He has that John. Yes, Katrina, thank you. They have that same type of look. Yes. And that's why I'm like, sometimes you can judge a book by its cover. You know, I had to find a good pick to match this aspect that I'm about to get into. But no, this is basically showing, yes, we are dealing with a loose cannon here. Unhinged. So he got Mercury in Gemini squaring Uranus and Pluto in Virgo. The blades is it. Picture down. Yo, I'm just trying to drive the point home. We are dealing with somebody that is unhinged. All right. So this square right here, y'all ever heard of the term reprobate mind? Look, let me pull up the Bible verse. I love this Bible verse for some reason. I just love that word. Reprobate. Okay. First, let's talk about the definition. Reprobate. An unprincipled person, often used humorously or affectionately. That's why I'm laughing while I'm saying this. And then the religious definition is, this is according to the Calvinistic religion, a sinner who is not of the elect and is predestined to damnation. Yes. All right, let me pull up that Bible verse that I love. Okay, wait a minute. It's something about God gave them up to a reprobate mind. Okay. Okay, it says the phrase reprobate mind is found in Romans 1:28 in reference to those whom God has rejected as godless and wicked. God gave them over to a reprobate mind. Yes. So basically, what that basically means is, oh, wait a minute, what you say? Who's Ibrahim Traore? You say he's a Pisces. Some say. Do you think he might? I don't know who that. Please let me know who that is. But yes, reprobate mind. Like basically, it means like you don't have any morals. You don't have any qualms about doing some real low down dirty shit. Mental instability, being high strung, being volatile. This is a mutable square we're talking about. Mutable squares can just produce a lot of volatility, period. Prone to snap when things don't go his way. So him threatening to choke the chick, that's him snapping. That's this square right here. Prone, oh, phone could be hacked or bugged with this. Sex interferes with his need to maintain clarity of mind, especially because of this Pluto influence right here. So he's somebody where you could say sex could probably always be on his mind. You know, there are some people out there like that where they're sex addicts and everybody they're looking at, they're thinking, okay, that's somebody I would screw or somebody I would kill. You know, that whole game, who would you screw, who would you kill? He got that type of mentality. And then those nasty texts, breach of contracts that could be occurring at some point, and then signing a contract under duress, or it could even be a situation involving a lawsuit, or he might claim that he had to sign something or agree to something under duress. All right, loose lips, y'all know the saying, loose lips sink what? Ships. Yes. Let me see what y'all are saying. I'll wait till the slide comes up. Leave Me Alone said, do you think Shannon is in the closet also trying to prove hard he like women? He recently leaked him engaging in sexual activity on Instagram. Yes, I talked about that. Now, I'm saying that he's pansexual, meaning he's down for whatever, because he's hypersexual. So some men, you know, and women, they don't mind who it is. They just want to get off. So if you look good, if you're good looking, it don't matter if you're a man, a woman, you could be trans. It don't matter. He wants some of it. So yeah, I believe he's like true bisexual, but I would also say he leans towards the pansexual end. All right, now he got Venus in Cancer, sesqui-square Neptune in Scorpio. Now, this sesqui-square is a big reason for a lot of his problems. Keep in mind that the sesqui-square aspect will produce situations where a person could do something that is considered offensive, egregious, outrageous, where it's just off the chain, where it's out of pocket. I like to use that term, out of pocket, for the sesqui-square. Like, you out of pocket right now. Yeah. So Venus in Cancer, sesqui-square Neptune in Scorpio. So this is him recording women during sex without their knowledge. Getting with women he can trash, use up, and discard. It's that Neptune and Scorpio challenging that Venus and Cancer through the sesqui-square that can make him just want to dog women out. He wants to treat them like garbage. He wants to just have sex with them, use them up, and then quickly discard them. Hence why he found this woman on OnlyFans. What better way to find a woman that you can trash but to find one on OnlyFans, which he found this current chick that he was in this tryst with, and now it's blowing up in his face. But yeah, this basically shows he doesn't respect women. He really doesn't like women, but he'll just use women to get off sexually. I would say he has much better relationships with men than women. Like, women to him, they're probably only like a receptacle to put his thing in. And also for him to get the ego validation, for him to have his ego stroked, to get that narcissistic supply. I would also venture to say, because of this sesqui-square, that he could be a cross-dresser. I wouldn't be surprised if he likes to put on women's lacy panties. I wouldn't be surprised if he likes to put on bras and bustiers and stuff like that. Maybe not all the time, but every once in a while, especially when he had a bit too much to drink. There was this actor back in the day. I should do a case study on him. His name was Harold E. Rollins, right? Some of y'all might know who I'm talking about. He was starring in the TV series In the Heat of the Night with the dude that played Archie Bunker. Well, Harold E. Rollins, he was a cross-dresser. And if you pull up a picture of Harold E. Rollins, you wouldn't expect him to be like that. But Harold E. Rollins, he was putting on the blonde wigs and bras and lipsticks in his private life. I wouldn't be surprised if Shay Shay likes to wear little underwear, likes to wear a little lingerie. Shay Shay with the lingerie, okay? Yeah. Kay, you said he wore bras before. You remember him, Nandy? Yes, Heat of the Night. Yes, look up. There's a celebrity underrated did a video. I think that's what the channel is called, on Carol O'Connor. Yes, that's the name. Harold E. Rollins. Check it out. He had a very sad life. Very, very sad. All right. Fearing women will share his video, hence the statement he made. So again, this is the same energy. Venus, sesqui-square Neptune. On one hand, he's recording women without their knowledge during sex. And now he's fearing that the video is going to be released. Hence him talking about the video. In his statement, he even said they need to just release the whole video, because they're probably only going to release like 30 minutes. And then it's going to be out of context and all this type of stuff. Holding a woman against her will, forcing sex / rape. Now, this aspect, it doesn't say he's a rapist, if you get what I'm saying. Because, you got men who are straight up rapists. And then you got men who will rape under circumstance. And I see Shannon being the latter. Shannon being the type that will commit that type of act via circumstance, not because that's what he is. So I don't see him as an actual, a pathological rapist, but he has the potential to do so with a woman he's currently involved with. This is why he keeps on saying consensual. But because, look, when you see this Neptune and Scorpio and the Venus, it's like he's not basically just pushing her down and ripping off all her clothes. This is more up close and personal, right? She's saying, I don't want to do it tonight. Get off of me. Get off of me. And he keeps laying on her. And because he's such a big, burly, brutish type of man, he got all his weight on her. He has her pinned down. He has her trapped, which is Neptune. He has her pinned down. He has her trapped. He has her cornered. She's saying no, he's getting turned on, keeps getting turned on. And next thing you know, he slides it in and he tells her later, you wanted that. And in his mind, again, you cannot teach a Cancer how to walk straight. Bill Cosby went through the same thing. In his mind, it's not rape. She wanted it anyway. Oh, we were arguing that night, and that's why she was saying no, but she really wanted it. I could tell she really wanted it because she was wet down there. You know what I mean? These men will come up with all these rationalizations as to why the woman really wanted it when she really didn't. So yes, I'm saying he can be a rapist per circumstance, but is he a rapist where of the kind where he's just walking the streets looking for women to assault? No, he's not that type, but he is the type where he will do it under certain circumstances. Like again, where he will and there's a lot of men out there like that, and they will never say that they raped a chick, but they will do it where they force themselves on a chick, but they don't consider it rape because they were already involved with the chick. So that's where it gets sticky. But again, in his mind, he doesn't think he's doing anything wrong. Just like in Bill Cosby's mind, he didn't think he was doing anything wrong. Oh, well, she came over to my house. She must have knew what she, had in store. She must have knew. She knew what she wanted. She knew what time it was when she came to my house for those lessons, for that tutoring, for that training, for that TV spot. That's how some of these predacious men think. Like once you get in his lair, oh, it's on. That's how he is. But he's not the type that's going to just jump on a woman in the street. See, there's different types of men out there that will sexual assault, and some of them aren't the type that just wants to jump on strange women. No, they'll do it with women they're already involved with, and then next thing you know, say, no, you wanted that. You know you wanted that. All right. And this part, I'm also seeing this aspect as a squeeze my nipples till it hurts. So we already know he's into like some, forms of BDSM. We already see that prominent nipple that's sticking out with that then shirt he has on. I mean, it looks like he's wearing pajamas. I'm about to get into that part too. But I wouldn't be surprised if he likes to get his nipples pinched or twisted until they're almost bleeding. And P. Diddy was like that too. It came out that P. Diddy likes that nipple play as well. He likes his nipples to be pinched until he can't take it no more either. And you see how big that nipple is. Some of these men that got these big nipples like that, they got like that because people have been pinching them hard. And I learned, don't ask me how I know, but I learned that there is a big fetish in the gay male community when it comes to nipples. Yes. And some men will even get their nipples elongated. I think there's certain like clamps they can use. But I've seen some big ass nipples on some men now. And again, don't ask me how I know, but I know. Because I like to do a lot of research. Because I like to be very knowledgeable about a bunch of things. But yeah, that nipple fetish, that shit is big in some circles. I'll just say that. All right. Next, his questionable choice of clothing that places emphasis on his genitals and also his chest, like the beige get up on the Club Shay Shay interview he had with Cat Williams. Now look at this outfit. Is this an outfit you really should be wearing in public? I mean, the fact that it gets all wrinkled very quickly shows you that that's not really an outfit that you're supposed to be wearing outside. I mean, that's something you put on when you want to go outside and check the mail, or when you want to go outside and get the paper. Maybe if you got to run to the convenience store real quick, maybe you might put that on. But why would you wear that when you are interviewing someone? I'll tell you why. Because he likes to wear clothes where his genitals are going to be showing. He likes to wear clothes where you could see the print of his dick, you could see the roundness of his balls, and you could see how hard his nipples are. This isn't the first time he's worn clothes like this. So yeah, when I tell you the average man would not wear some get up like this because they are self-conscious about how their franken beans are going to be looking. So this shows you right here the man is deviant just off of this outfit and this aspect right here is basically showing, yeah, he likes to dress in ways where you might get a little peek at his penis, you might get a little peek at the balls, you definitely gonna see the nipples. But you already know, I'm telling you, it's the same as women that wear those yoga pants, right? You know, there's different types of yoga pants. So I'm not talking about all yoga pants. But it's the same as a woman that wears those yoga pants where there's the slit between the cheeks, so each cheek is separated, and then they got their camel toe all prominent and they're walking down the street. You don't put shit like that on unless you want certain types of attention. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's the same thing. Women tend to do it more than men, but there are some men out there that will wear certain clothes where you could, see the print, the outline of what they have of their junk. Yeah, exactly. Like the old man that me and my sister saw at the mall when we were teenagers. And we knew he was doing that shit on purpose. It was this old man in the food court. He had on these short shorts and he had his leg crossed and his saggy ass nut sack was just hanging, sitting on the chair. And me and my sister, we looked up, we were eating our food. We looked over and I almost threw up, but I remember we was just laughing the whole rest of the day. But yeah, he was one of those exhibitionists, that old man in the food court. And I remember he was just looking up, just he had his fist on his chin and he was just looking up with his leg crossed with that saggy old ass nutsack just sitting on the chair. We should have reported him to mall security. I don't know why we didn't. But yeah, there are men out there, there's women out there too that like to be exposed in public. Yes. And this can be where he has to pay out hush money to these women, which he has. And then avoiding Black women like the plague, ridicule, shaming Black women, which I believe he has. I don't have any direct quotes, but I believe he has insinuated certain negative things about Black women. And then this is an aspect that could play out as a shakedown as well. So again, I do believe that these women are telling the truth with these allegations, but the timing of it, I do believe that it does have to do with him getting this major deal, $100 million deal. I think what, with ESPN or whatever. So people can be opportunists. And I mean, like I said, if some man was rich and I knew he did me dirty back in the day, I would probably file a lawsuit too and get paid. I'm sorry. Like, hey, you need some type of compensation if you've been done dirty by somebody. So I'm like, hell yeah. He needs to be shaken down. And again, if you don't want to pay, don't play. Now, there was a clip where he did say I'm a creep, but he was basically complaining. He was basically speaking in jest. He was basically talking about, yeah, whenever I tell people that I want to date younger women, I'm a creep. But yeah, he's a creep. So he has Venus running contraparallel. The contraparallel, that's like an opposition to Eros. And Eros is at the 22nd degree of Libra. So this is representing the lawsuits with various female lovers. And then Neptune is conjoined to Hidalgo. That's an asteroid that often deals with where you have to defend yourself, you have to state your case. So this is his video statement attempting to clear his name. And then he has Neptune conjoined to Shiva, destroying videos or a video or videos destroy him. So I wouldn't be surprised if he did have a lot of videos and he's already destroying these videos because of this conjunction. But it can also mean that there could be a video out there that is going to destroy him. And I don't think they officially released this video, did they? Salacious says, Shannon is such an impressive physical specimen. You know he would have fetched top price on the block back in the day. You know he would have. He would have been made to be a breeder. Yes. He's a big, strong buck. The slave masters would have been like fighting over him. They was like, oh no, we want him. But it's the same with the NFL. I feel like the NFL is kind of like putting these players on an auction block. When they have the drafts and all this, like Deion Sanders' son, he's in the news right now because he didn't get the first pick of the draft or something like that. I'm like, why are y'all crying over this boy? But anyway, if you think about it, the way they do the drafts in sports, that's kind of like being on the auction block, but they're getting paid big money, so you couldn't really consider that slavery. Now, here's the text messages. So he got a yod in his chart. He got 2 yods actually. So this is yod number 1. And a yod is an aspect pattern that consists of a sextile and 2 quincunx aspects. And what yods do is they can produce situations that start off lovely and then end up blowing up in your face. And yods are known as the finger of fate or the finger of God. So I'm calling it getting spanked by the hand of God. So here's the text message from Gabby, the woman who is filing the lawsuit against him right now. She said, call me. I feel like fucking with you. I want you to put a dog collar around my neck and choke me with it while you're effing me. Only if you put that baby gravy in me, then you could do whatever you want. See, she's trying to get a big payday because she wants that baby so she could get that child support. I want to put my tongue in your what? And then marry you. Wow. So she was giving him the full service, I think. Wow. Okay, so for this yod, Neptune is the focal point. So with Neptune and Scorpio, sex addiction. Now, not everybody with Neptune and Scorpio is going to be a sex addict, but he does have that Venus sesquiquadrate Neptune. He got Mercury quincunx Neptune. So I would say yes. And considering the stories that came out, yes, he has a sex addiction. And this can point to the sex video and the sex scandal. Mercury and Gemini sextile Saturn and Aries. So this is the aspect that points to things coming together for his benefit. It can represent deals that are being made, such as the ESPN gig, being a media personality. And then what happens is, so again, Mercury and Gemini sextile Saturn and Aries. So this is the good part. What's going to happen is Neptune is going to quincunx that Mercury and Saturn, and that's where things get messed up. So Mercury and Gemini quincunx Neptune and Scorpio. Sex-themed text and threatening audio are leaked because that can deal with the leaking of information. Sharpe going live with the sex video by mistake. And I'm put by mistake in quotations because I know that wasn't a mistake. But again, I believe he's the type that gets off on people either hearing him have sex, people being able to get a sneak peek at his genitals. Some people are like that where they just get off on publicizing their sexual exploits. And I see him being that. So last year when he posted that live of him having sex, that was on purpose. That wasn't by mistake. May get off on broadcasting his sexcapades, voyeurism, which is what I'm saying. So when you see that Mercury and Gemini, quincunx Neptune and Scorpio, it doesn't have to just be information is leaked involuntarily. It could be voluntarily you're leaking information because you get off on it. Now, sex addiction interferes with his media job, which is represented by Mercury and Gemini, with ESPN, which results in suspension or his leave of absence. If he would have taken a leave of absence, he would have been suspended anyway. They just had him take that leave of absence just to make things look good for him. And then again, remember I pointed out Mercury being at the 23rd degree of Gemini. That's the 23 settlements so far. Neptune at 24 degrees Scorpio. And again, I feel like this last case is the final nail in the coffin for him, where now he's looking at his denouement. He's looking at his downfall at this point. And then Saturn and Aries, quincunx Neptune and Scorpio. This can be loss of status, loss of his position. His career is tanking. Good reputation due to sex scandal, sex addiction. So he's losing his good reputation, his reputation as being an uncle, Uncle Shannon, Uncle Shay Shay. He's losing his big time career. I mean, when you have so much to lose, but again, it goes back to him being a sex addict. These sex addicts will put a lot on the line. Now, Saturn and Aries for this one, now we're dealing with the second yacht. So this time it's Saturn and Aries as the focal point. And if you notice, Saturn and Aries was in the previous yacht. So this is showing him being a professional athlete, his sports career, and his reputation. Uranus and Virgo, sextile Neptune and Scorpio, sexually fantasizes. No, I'm sorry. Sexual fantasies fulfilled through young OnlyFans chick. That's the epitome of this sextile. So let me break it down. Uranus and Virgo is the OnlyFans chick named Gabby, and Neptune and Scorpio is his sexual fantasies. So again, sexual fantasies fulfilled through young OnlyFans chick. And then the Virgo is representing the service, but it can also represent youth. Saturn and Aries quincunx Uranus and Virgo. Club Shay Shay is no more due to damaged reputation. I don't think he has officially came out and said that he's basically retired Club Shay Shay, but I would think, that's probably coming. And this Saturn and Aries quincunx Neptune and Scorpio can also deal with him lacking self-control. Sex addiction, scandal results in loss of status and position, leaking the name of his accuser. So when the story first dropped, they weren't naming her name. They were just saying Jane Doe. And Shannon was the one who came forward and basically named her as the accuser. And again, he's doing it to try to make her look bad because he thinks he has stuff on her. Now, let's talk about some of the transits he currently has going down that brought about this situation. Jupiter says Shannon's going to be sliding down a pole. Nandy said Cam said that because there's too many steps to take to go live. Jupiter says some people are reckless. Normalize safe sex and getting on a full panel STD test before you have sex with anyone. Salacious said with his Venus and Cancer, he probably was giving her that baby grape. But then again, he's also like a Venus and Cancer person. They're going to be rather tight with their money. So I don't know if he was really trying to give her that baby gravy like that. Kay says some Cancers can't handle Aquarius and always gets hurt. Those two signs, they really don't get along well in general. All right, so look at this outfit. Look at this sweater. But this is so indicative of his Cancer energy. Because I always say, and I forgot to mention this too, with his that tan outfit he had on where it was paper thin. A Venus and Cancer person in particular, but Cancer in general. Cancer is very much, but Venus and Cancer, because Venus is dealing with one style. A lot of times they'll dress for comfort first, style next. And this sweater is kind of showing that. Like, he's all about being comfortable, not so much about looking good. Because people were clowning him for that sweater. The fault in his stars. So here are some of his stars before we get into the transits. Here are some of his stars that are damning. So he has his sun running parallel to the fixed star Hamal, and Hamal can represent violence, cruelty, and brutality. And then he has Mars parallel Alcyone. Alcyone is one of the fixed stars that pertains to homosexuality, but it can also bring trouble with the opposite sex, disgrace, loss, and sorrow. All of that applies to him. And then he has Jupiter parallel Acubens. This can manifest as domestic problems, poison, and liars. I wouldn't put him above trying to poison somebody to get out of a lawsuit or get out of criminal charges. Saturn conjunct Curta. Judges, so he might have to face a judge at some point. Head injury. I wouldn't be surprised if he has sustained head injuries being a football player, but I wouldn't also be surprised. Like, let's say that criminal charges are filed on him at some point, which is very possible, especially with some of the transits he got coming up. So let's say, because right now it's just civil, it's a lawsuit. Let's say that criminal charges are filed against him at some point by one of these women. I wouldn't be surprised because head injury is one of the manifestations of this star. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to say, oh, he has CTE, meaning, oh, he's mentally unstable because he had concussions when he was in the NFL and he has some brain damage. I wouldn't be surprised if that becomes his defense because Saturn is in Aries. This conjunction is in Aries, and Aries is defense. So with this head injury, you mark my words, if he gets charged, if he gets put on trial with criminal charges, and if the evidence is stacked against him, then I won't be surprised if his lawyer says, you're going to have to say you got CTE because you were in the NFL and you got all these head injuries and all that. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Severe wounds, cruel trials, talent for acting like a good guy. Damn, you got a good eye. You said his glasses are dirty. I'm he has South Node conjoined to Merga. Merga can represent guardians, forces behind the scenes, hidden masters, and designers. Well, we know already he got some hidden masters, considering that he made it so high up on the food chain in the world of sports. Because your average professional athlete don't get gigs with ESPN and all that type of stuff. He had to do something. Or I'm sure they look, you can see his nipples poking out of that shirt. I'm sure they had some dirt on him already, which is why they allow him to have such a high position in the world of entertainment after his NFL career. Pluto conjunct Denebula. This can manifest as criticism. You know, people are criticizing him now. Control, he is controlling. Undesirable associates, check. Mental illness, check. Happiness turns to despair, check. Disease, I'm sure he's probably had a number of STDs, check. And catastrophes, which he's going through right now, check. All right, let's look at what's going there. Now, look, I'm gonna wait till this next image comes up on my screen so I know y'all can see it. But goddamn, he looks like an angry ape right here. Jesus, I would not want to get on his bad side. Let me tell you. Exactly. Yes, cancer will suppress, and that's why his nipples be popping. He likes it though. He likes you to squeeze those nips. But this next image of him is scary. I'm scared. Like this is like imagine you piss him off and he giving you that look. You know, I don't run from the average person, but I would run from his ass. I would. I would run and hide. Scared. Oh my God. I'd be like, don't hurt me. Sarah said he looks like his head butts could kill, right? You see that Star was talking about head injuries. I feel sorry for his opponents on the field. God damn. The Black Terminator. But this is the other side of Shannon Sharpe that he don't want you to see. All right. So transiting South Node is conjoined to his Uranus in Virgo right now. So this is him reaping what he has sown with a friend or a fan. In this case, it would be the OnlyFans chick or associate who provides a service. So remember, I already tied this Uranus and Virgo in his chart with the OnlyFans chick. Now, because the transiting South Node is on that Uranus, he's reaping what he has sown with a friend or a fan, and in this case, this chick Gabby, the OnlyFans chick, or associate who provides a service. The service is coming from Virgo. And it shows that his job is on the line and where he's seeking help. He's seeking help from friends, family, whoever, his associates. Transiting North Node in Pisces, opposing Uranus and Virgo. Scandal involving friend, fan, or associate. And again, we know it's this woman, Gabby, who is more so of the fan category with the OnlyFans. But you could include her as a friend too, because they had like a homie lover friend type of situation going on. Also, the analysis of the video and audios that people are doing right now. Taking a leave of absence from work. Criminal charges may be filed when the transiting South Node lands on his Pluto. So the transiting South Node is coming for his Pluto, y'all. That's going to take place July 30th. That's when that transit becomes exact, but it could happen before that transit becomes exact because it's going to be within orb earlier than that. So this might just be the beginning for Shannon. Shay Shay might be facing criminal charges. Just like how, remember with Diddy, in the beginning, it was a lawsuit with Cassie, and that was a civil suit. And then a year later, it turned into criminal charges. It might happen even quicker for Shannon Sharpe. All I know is he better start securing his legal team. Well, I'm sure he already has, but yeah, it doesn't look good for him with that transiting South Node landing on his Pluto in the near future. Now, transiting Neptune and Aries, quincunx Jupiter in Virgo, taking a leave of absence from work again. Scandal prompts Shay to seek legal help, represented by Jupiter. Naming his accuser, providing details. Transiting Pluto in Aquarius, quincunx Mars in Cancer, attempting to clear his name from allegations of threats and abuse of a fan, friend, or associate. And we know in this case, it's all three. Like, she basically could be considered all three: a fan, a friend, and an associate. But we know that she's not the only woman who came forward and alleged that he harmed her or, R-worded her or what have you. There are a number of women, and this is where he is really looking at some serious possible criminal charges. A need to revisit an unresolved situation. Interference prevents you from moving forward. A situation beyond your control creates a great inconvenience. This is what I took from the book I wrote where I was writing about this transit right here. Also, being cursed or hexed. He'll probably think that he's being cursed right now, or somebody hexed him. You never know, somebody might have. A need to rely heavily upon others to make it through, being caught up in a risky or dangerous situation, being threatened. A crisis situation unfolds, a need to be hyper vigilant of your surroundings, being an easy target. He's an easy target because he did it to himself. Like, if these men just knew how to exercise some self-control, they wouldn't find themselves in these situations. Becoming entangled in a web of drama or intrigue. Being pressured or forced to capitulate or step down. Now, here's a positive transit he has going down right now. Because usually when you're dealing with a bunch of negative transits, you're also going to have some positive ones going down at the same time because, the universe has some degree of mercy. So transiting Pluto in Aquarius is in sextile with his Chiron in Aries. A friend may lend him some money that can aid him in his defense. Transiting Chiron in Aquarius, sextile Mercury in Gemini, receiving messages of support and encouragement from some of his friends and fan base. And his progressed sun is at the 29th degree of Leo right now, and it's forming a sesqui-square with his Aries North Node and a semi-square with his Libra South Node. The fact that his progressed sun is at the 29th degree of Leo right now is very telling, because that 29th degree can produce high-pressure situations, interference from third parties, and it can really arouse his anger. But this is basically pointing to a lover files a lawsuit, triggering anger and outrage in Shannon. So that basically concludes my reading on Shannon Sharpe. And basically, I feel like it's really clear to see that, yes, I believe he is guilty of a lot of these allegations that these women have put out so far. Is it a shakedown? I would say, yes, it is somewhat of a shakedown, but not the type of shakedown where they're lying about him, but basically where they're trying to cash in. But I feel it's justifiable because if somebody like harms you or does you dirty, I believe you should get some type of compensation, even if it's years into the future, if you can somehow prove that that actually happened. So, yeah, time will tell. Again, I won't be surprised if he get charged with criminal, like if he is facing criminal charges in the future with the transiting South Node landing on his Pluto, so he better be careful. All right, I got another Taurus question for y'all. Let me see what y'all are saying before I ask this. Kay said, damn, Shannon, he tripping. Cheem said, I think he made around 500,000 just from the Cat Williams interview. God damn, you can't make that much money without them putting blackmail on. Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I'm saying, yeah, it is a shakedown to a certain degree, but it's a shakedown where, yes, some of this, like, well, I'll say most of it, if not all of it, is true. And that's why when you make a lot of money, you got to make sure that you don't do this dirty stuff. See what nurturer provider. So a cheap cancer, either they ain't got it or they ain't got it for you. Jupiter says Shannon be dropping it low for those CEOs. Oh yes. Izzy said she said baby gravy because she swallows. Yeah. Because I can't be with his Venus in Cancer, I can't see him wanting to just get any old chick, especially a OnlyFans chick pregnant. Now that's probably when he would try to poison her if she ended up pregnant, because he'd be damned if he was going to pay that child support bill. All right, I have another question for y'all. Now we could just have some fun, um, maybe for the next 10 to 15 minutes, and then I'm gonna head out. So here's another question I have for y'all. Y'all ready? This is a question about money, and it's really dealing with ethics and morals. Okay, let's say that you're in a store. It's a store that has like household items. You know, like a store like Home Goods, Crate and Barrel. Remember Pier 1 Imports? I used to love Pier 1 Imports. Didn't they go out of business? But anyway, okay. Let's say you're in one of those stores, right? You broke an expensive item in a store. No one noticed that you broke it. Do you say something or do you just walk out? Now, knowing if you say something, you might have to pay for it. What would you do? So let me repeat it. You're in a store, you broke an expensive item. No one noticed that you broke it. Do you say something or do you just walk out? I don't know what I would do. I got to really think about that one. Nancy said the store is insured. Yeah, you got that right. Jupiter said I would walk out. Callie, I would walk out too. Why am I fronting? I know good and well I will walk out. And especially, let me put a price tag on this item. This item costs $389 and you broke it. Are you telling them that you broke it? Salacia said, not saying a goddamn thing. Who did what? Right? Just like everybody's walking out, I see. Is there going to be anybody that's like totally honest, where it's like, I'm honest, Abe, I cannot tell a lie? Cameras everywhere. Called Sid said cameras everywhere. Babe Blue said walking out, but I'm going to be looking over my shoulder, waiting for Carmen to kick my ass. KP said, yeah, I'm going. Blazer said leave. All right, let me draw out another one. I think I asked this one before, but it might have been during a workshop I was doing. And for those that came in a little later, I am hosting a workshop. It's taking place May 10th. It's going to be on the lunar nodes. The link to purchase a ticket is in the description section of this video. So consider purchasing a ticket. It's going to be really informative, but it's going to be fun at the same time. But anyway, here's another scenario. All right, you're in the checkout line. Let's say you're making a big dinner, right? You have a dinner party. You're in the checkout line and you have a big turkey. That turkey is like $28, right? So everything gets rung up, but you notice the cashier did not ring up the turkey. You already got home before you looked at your receipt and saw that the turkey was never rung up. Do you go back to the store and tell them, hey, I didn't pay for this turkey, here's the money? Or do you just put that turkey in the oven and have your party? What would you do? Would you be like, hey, I got a free turkey? Or would you be like, oh, that ain't right. Let me go back and pay for this turkey? Izzy said no. Narrow said hell no. So y'all not giving the turkey, y'all not going back and paying for the turkey. Abu said hell no, I'm keeping it. Moonlight said cooking the birds. Lee just said clerical errors ain't my fault. Gobble gobble. The earth being said no, that turkey is my blessing, is balanced in my opinion. KP said it was a blessing, not saying a thing. All right, I got another one. Let's say, okay, let's say you're on your last dollar, right? Rent got to be paid. This is another one of these questions where the rent got to be paid, but not just the rent. Rent got to be paid. Your car note has to be paid. And let's see what else is due. Electricity about to get shut off. You're just ass out money wise. A 70-year-old boomer comes to you and says, hey, they know your situation. They're like, hey, I can help you out, but can you help me out? And by helping them out means that you're going to have to give up some ass for some cash. You don't have no other way of getting this money, at least not that you know of. Would you do it? Would you help out the 70-year-old senior just so you can have your rent paid, food in the refrigerator, electric bill paid? Would you do it? Or would you just sit there, allow yourself to get evicted, have the lights cut off, you don't got no food? Abu said nope. Jupiter said hell no. Johanna said nope. Okay, let me sweeten the pot. I'm saying they're 70, but they look like they could be 60. So they don't look bad for their age. I mean, yeah, it's like having sex with your father, but come on. He don't look bad. And if it's a woman, she don't look bad. They don't look bad for their age. They're willing to scratch your back if you scratch their back. Would you do it? Yes, I'm in a bind Nate type of situation. Yes, set it off. Exactly. Siobhan said he's 70, ain't gonna take the Siobhan, me and you, we think the same. Exactly that. Look, I would even look at it like charity. I'm doing my part for the seniors out here. I would even make it like, I'd be like, he real lonely. I need some help. He needs some help. I'd be like, maybe we could make this a deal. Like maybe we could make this an ongoing thing. You continue to pay my rent. I'll give you a little sugar every now and then. I guess I got some weak morals, man. No, let me stop. But no, again, not all 70-year-olds look decrepit. This is just something to just ask yourself, hey, ask Mahogany, how you doing? You said I can if I'm not feeling it. But again, what if you're hungry? What if the rent needs to be paid? What if the light bill needs to be paid? Wait a minute. The art of being got a question. You said, is it wrong to stay with your annoying Taurus rising husband just because the sex is so good? No, because you got married for better or for worse, right? I don't think it's wrong to stay with your husband if the sex is good, as long as he's respecting you and he's taking care of things at home. Like, how is he annoying you? Let's get into the art of being react situation real quick. I want to know, what is he doing that's annoying you? Cause shoot, if it's good sex, that could give me a good enough reason to stay. But then again, if he's really annoying me, then he has to go. I don't care how. Because after a while, the good sex isn't going to be as good because he's annoying as hell. But yeah, I want to know, art of being. I want to know what is he doing to annoy you? Nandy said, as Lauren Hill said, rapped on a song with Paid in Live. If he's righteous, he could spend the night. A righteous, clean 70-year-old with ED, I may fall in love, right? Salacious said the dick is better, but his attitude is worse. As Mahogany said, I will be fine. But again, I feel like in that situation, if the person, especially if the person is not like gross looking, and if you knew them already, and I'm like, hey, you scratch my back, I scratch your back. KP said, as long as he's not abusive, we can work it out. Callie said, this turned into the confession. Okay, here we go. So you say he's annoying because he's a Mercury and South Node Aquarius, very gaslighting and closed emotionally. Big ego, but big D too. Okay, I feel like you could deal with that. Because, I mean, I would kind of close myself off emotionally to him. I would match his energy. But yeah, I'm like, you don't want to just throw out some good dick because good dick is hard to find, especially nowadays, especially the older you get. So again, as long as he's respecting you and he's paying his way and hopefully he's paying more than his way, he's paying some of your way too. I'm like, shoot, you got married for better or for worse. In sickness and in health. Till death do y'all part. A lot of people don't take that part seriously. Till death do y'all part. That is such a lie. You said, what other value is he given? Blazer said the highest I'm dating anyone is up to 1977. Anything above that is too old for me. Let me think. The oldest man I ever dealt with, I think he was like 55, and that was when I was in my 40s, and that was a bit too old for me. Like he wasn't really old acting, but I'll just say this about men. It seems like when men get 50 and above, that old man energy starts to really kick in and they get all grumpy and shit. They get real set in their ways. KP said he must have Capricorn somewhere in that chart, BD energy. Not all Capricorn men are packing, please. Nanny said, and a baby boomer, usually very elegant men, clean. A time when men were men. They wasn't as open to this new fluid talk lifestyle. Bumpy. You took it back to Bumpy Johnson. I'm done. You are only as old as you feel. I know that's right. Damn, 5 more years. I'm just so glad that I'm over those days where I had like a high sex drive and stuff because I would feel kind of pathetic at my age trying to, get some. But there are a lot of women my age that are still trying to get some. And I mean, I don't think there's nothing wrong with it, but I'm just glad I don't have it in me like that. Mahogany said, my only rule is not dating anyone older than my daddy. I feel you on that. That old man rancid smell, right? Callie said Capricorn men are dry. You watched Hoodlum yesterday? I never saw that whole movie. That's one of the few black movies I haven't seen the whole of. I need to watch it. Because I think it's either free on Amazon Prime or maybe even YouTube. I did watch Paid in Full last night. Remember with Cameron's in it, Mekhi Phifer's in it, because that's free on YouTube right now. That's my movie. And Wood Harris. Wood Harris, he seemed a little slow. He signs up like he didn't seem slow when he was acting in The Wire, but in Paid in Full, he was, I don't know. But I liked his character. Blazing Black Dolphin said there's women that's 80 still getting it on. My annoying neighbor upstairs. Are you serious? That's what I wondered about my grandma. Because my grandmother, Leo, she ended up getting a boyfriend when she was in her 80s. They were both in their 80s. He was like a couple of years older than her. She passed now, but I was wondering, I was like, are they doing anything? Are they getting it on? I had no idea. Not that I really wanted to know, but I was a little curious. I don't even know. Like, But let me stop. I was about to just that's just I don't know. Blanche from the Golden Girls, y'all. I remember those women were in their 40s when they were acting like they were senior citizens. I think what's her face? Rue McClanahan, she was only in her 40s playing Blanche. Mariah was in state property too. Speaking of Mariah, what is wrong with Mariah and her concert performances lately? She's just shuffling on the stage like an old lady. I think she's hopped up on prescription drugs. But you could tell she's over it. She don't want to perform no more, but when you sell your soul, you don't have any choice. You got to just keep performing. That's why you see Smokey Robinson's old ass shuffling across the stage, doing these hip thrusts and stuff, about to break his back. I don't think when you're a singer, you can ever quit. I don't think you can. Yup, there'd be a lot of dirty old men in nursing homes and some dirty old women too. But honestly, I think when you get a certain age, your sex drive should naturally decrease because you're in a different stage in your life. That shit shouldn't matter to you anymore. But there's some signs that are always going to want it, like the Leos, the Scorpios, some Aries, always going to want to get their shit wet. I don't get it. Nandy said that late great Angie Stone spoke to that. She said she had been retired. Oh yeah, and she still had to keep on performing because they took all her money, right? They weren't even paying her. You met Debbie Allen. I love me some Debbie Allen. I love both of the sisters, Debbie and Felicia. Classy, classy women. So beautiful, so graceful. Jupiter Going Wild said Pilates elevated my libido. Well, I can see how that's possible because you're always on the floor and you're, stretching and stuff. I can see how that could ignite your libido. Hey, Amanda. So, the art of being, what are you going to do? Are you going to continue being married to this Taurus rising? What's his sun sign? Mahogany said they call them nursing home thoughts, wait on an inheritance. Oh, you said I meant and should have been. Yeah, but it's something with that music industry. You just got to keep performing. Look at Escape. First of all, we're going to do like how we used to do it back in the day. Let me pull up some pictures. Let me try to find a picture of how Escape be looking at their concerts nowadays. Hold on. And especially Tiny. Oh my God. And then who else? Oh, Lottie's went. Oh, know who people are coming for nowadays? Ashanti. We gotta talk about her, some of her outfit choices too. Let me put Escape in concert. What I need from you is understanding. So simple as one, two, three. Understanding is what we need. You don't even know me. You just wanna do what you wanna do. Okay, hold on. Actually, let's just pull up. Maybe I could just pull up videos. Will I get in trouble with YouTube? Because I want to see a clip. We gotta see a clip of Escape real quick together. But the choices you made, baby, they're all the man. Oh, I try so very hard to keep our love alive. But you don't wanna meet me halfway, then the understanding now. All right, hold on. Escape. I got love on my mind. No space, supposed to wait, but tonight feels right. I think it's about that time. That was my jam. I got love on my mind. Cause I'm in the mood to make it groove and do all the things you want me to. I've been you. Oh God. You're looking so, so deaf to me. And I'm feeling so sexy. Hold on, y'all. Really can't help myself. Take me away in ecstasy. I wanna know how it feels to be loved. Okay. Boy, take your time. Oh, she needs to stop. Oh, wait, wait, wait. I gotta optimize the video. Hold on, y'all. Oh, wait, wait, wait. I gotta stop share. Okay, I can't play the sound because of copyright, but I think I can get away with just let's just look at some shorts real quick while I have y'all all here. All right, the art of being said, we need to be talking about how Mariah's kids have all the money, but Nick has 100 broke siblings that may want their money. I hope they don't deal with greedy siblings. Damn, you got a point. Oh yeah, I remember when Tamika was pregnant in that video. Yes. Take me away in ecstasy. I wanna know how it feels to be loved. Yeah. All right, here we go. This is just look like they're just showing Tiny in this. This is taking forever. Hold up, it should come up any minute. But that's not even a bad outfit she has on. I gotta pull up another escape video. This is taking too long. But she has no business trying to act sexy. You know, there comes a time in every woman's life where she has to put away the mini skirts, put away the bodysuits. Mary J. Blige, I'm talking to you. Um, and just like be more on that mature end. And the escape women, they're at that point in their life. Now, for some reason, it's not showing. Wait a minute, here it comes. Okay. Damn, it took long enough. Chrissy Ann said, Tiny looks like Mariah Carey if she was left in the microwave too long. Now, why is it freezing on this end? Okay, here we go. But all that, like, if you either got it or you don't. And I'm sorry, Tiny don't got it. And when you don't have it, you gotta just stay in your lane. All this like grinding and hip thrusts and stuff, it's just not a good look coming from her. And especially at her age. Yeah, I like that too, Kay. You said I like how T.I. still loves her the way she is. But then again, if they weren't having them threesomes, would he still be with her? Let's be real. That was probably part of the deal. Like, yeah, I'll stay with you if we can have other women come into our bedroom. Did she really have a choice? Jupiter said, I love dressing in a conservative manner. Covered up is sexy. Let's look at Ashanti in concert because a lot of people are talking trash about Ashanti. Now I love Ashanti, don't get me wrong. But yeah, people been talking stuff, talking about she shouldn't be dressed like that. She need to go home and take care of her baby. She need to tone it down. She need to record some new music. I would agree with that. Like, it's time for you to put out some new shit, Ashanti. Like, nobody wants to hear Foolish 5 million times. Now that's cute what she has on. Actually, what I need to be on is Instagram. Let me go on the gram, y'all. Because that's where we can really get some laughs. And it'll probably stream better. Because a lot of Ashanti clips be coming up on Instagram. All right, hold on. And then Instagram, I should be able to play the volume. All right, let's get out of here. Let's go on the gram. All right, let me come up with another scenario for y'all. Let me think of another one. Oh my God, look at the first person that came up, y'all. This is crazy. Oh, that's because I had searched him. All right, let me share my screen. The first person that came up when I opened my Instagram was Shannon Sharpe. All right. Hopefully this will play better. So we want to go on Reels. Christian says Shanti been in the game for 30 years and can't sing. You know, people are saying that about her too. This is taking forever to switch screens. So right now I'm looking at a post of Shannon Sharpe. It says, today I'm having my left hip totally replaced after having my right hip totally replaced in July. It's going to be amazing to be pain-free and get my active life back, I'm sure. Wouldn't change any of that part in my life. Chat soon, guys. Okay, let me just go to the reels. Oh, you saw the picture of him in the hospital? You said Shannon looks like an auntie in the hospital. Okay, this says, she usually starts her morning off helping me prep for dinner. She enjoys being in the kitchen. There ain't nothing funny about this. Let's move on. What's oh,
I was really craving something sweet. Like I literally invented sweet tooth. I was craving cake. And I saw that they had this little baby cake. It was literally $5. And I want the cake. So I'm about to take a bite of the cake. Oh my God, it smells really good. It's a s'mores cake. Please don't judge me, okay? Like literally, please don't. I don't have a fork. So I literally just have to bite.
oh, come on, pig. Does anybody in here eat like that? She's eating the whole cake.
Oh my God.
Without
Oh my God.
mm-mm. Talk about Taurus season.
Bro.
Somebody say it looks good too. Y'all, look at this. This is ridiculous. You know, gluttony is a sin.
Mm.
Ew.
That's good.
All right, next. You're out of here. Okay. Lego Center.
What y'all doing? Just step aside and let me on in now.
All right.
People are saying, but the smelliest at the butthole contest was.
Oh, let me hit.
It was not a butthole.
I mean, what?
There was a woman that entered the contest, pulled her pants down to show her butthole, and that waft from her could have melted.
What?
Was it like that turtle tank smell?
It smelled like, yeah, turtle tank was rotting something. It was so nasty, and everyone's like, "What's that smell?" And I'm like, "That ain't a butthole."
What is he
We've
talking
been smelling
about?
buttholes all night. That odor is a little something new. That's some scummy. Wash your hands and clean your too, because it's all. And wash your balls, your fucking balls. If you're a guy competing too, it just wash. If you're coming to the pretty, it's called the prettiest butthole in Michigan.
What?
That means prettiest looking. That means
Wait a minute. What kind of contest is this?
all right, and come with a good attitude too. A lady came last year, had an attitude.
How do you have an attitude at a butthole contest?
We didn't ask you to show your butthole. You came asking to show your butthole on our stage.
What kind of
Right?
do you
Yeah,
see
you're
the
gonna
stuff
come in-
that my algorithm be showing me? I don't be asking for this stuff. This is crazy. Butthole contest?
But
This
the
is so
smelly
Pluto and
butthole
Aquarius.
contest, it was not a butthole.
What?
There was a woman that entered the contest, pulled her pants down to show her butthole, and that waft from her could have melted.
Was it like that turtle tank smell?
It smelled like, yeah, turtle tank was rotting something. It was so nasty, and everyone's like, "What's that smell?" And I'm like, "That ain't a butthole."
Mm-mm.
Tree.
Oh, I saw this the other day. Y'all tell me if y'all believe this. This woman claims she talks to trees and the trees will touch her. Like the trees will move over to where she's at. I think this is fake. Y'all let me know if this
Can
is
you
fake.
please move closer to my voice? Higher. 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 Higher.
Oh, I'll
Higher.
get
Thank
back to
you.
yours, RDB.
Thank you. Ooh, thank you.
Hello, Tree. Hi, Tree. I know I haven't been talking to you, but this bitch on TikTok told me, I mean on Instagram, told me if I come talk to you, that you would talk to me. If you can hear me, move closer to my face. If you can hear me, Tree, move closer to my face.
This is very Taurus, y'all, because Taurus is trees, nature.
You're moving a little bit too. I ain't
Maybe the
gonna-
Taurus can communicate with trees like that.
Move closer to my face.
Bullshit. Okay. This is
Donald Trump, and I have more trash than all of you. So yeah.
okay.
Tree.
Cat. Stop. Hold on, let me refresh my screen because my laptop is very delayed.
Representing the fitness center in Michigan, Tom Anderson. Representing the vertical club in New York City,
Hey.
Joshua Ashby. From Black Iron Athletic Club in Boulder, Jake Corelli. From the Maricopa Athletic Club in Phoenix, Peter Dale. From Great Multiple Connection in Tampa, Clay Brett. Representing President and First Lady of Houston, James Johnson. From Plain Body Workout in Sacramento, James Miller. From the Shannon Athletic Club in Columbus, Jerry Pierce. From the Supreme Court Fitness Center.
Boy George. Uh-oh. Nope, we can't play that song.
As I cut back, headed to my seat on the corner, Madonna.
Oh, look
is
at
sitting on
Montel Jordan.
the
He still
side
looks
that's
good,
like
y'all.
right on the corner seat. And I pass by and I see her. My guy says, "Hey, Madonna, this is Montel Jordan." So I reach out my hand to shake her hand because I've listened to her on my 690. Like I know her music, you know. She looks at me and she goes, "Don't I own you?"
What?
Wait, what? Oh, no.
That's what I said. I said, "Huh?" She said, "Don't I own you?" And I was like, I'm not processing. Now, let me take you away from that moment. When This Is How We Do It runs up the charts, before it gets to #1, there's a song there called Take a Bow.
Uh-oh. No, I can't play music. All right, I gotta just move on. This is Jupiter and Scorpio all day. Handling snakes as part of your religion. Very Jupiter and Scorpio. Or he could have Jupiter in the 8th house. You know Montel Jordan is a Cancer.
This is the tip of the onion, The onion is not the knife around the onion. Cut the onion in half on the onion, and onion. Then the onion with onion right here. This is the tip of the onion,
Okay, I don't know who these people are. Moving along. Moving along. What is it?
See y'all just showing it's raining hard outside. My baby's scared of the rain.
She looked just like her dog. Just like him.
I'm scared, man. Well, it's too dang bad.
Okay.
Why is that getting big? But where my cut up? But why would you put it on top of the chilies? Because you're gonna dip it in there. You ain't what? Dip the chicken in there.
Yeah.
You put water.
Oh, I can't play music. Okay, what is this? Remember this. No, I don't. Stupid. Okay, moving on. Ew. Okay, who does this? Who puts their hot dog in their cup of beer? And then she's putting a straw through the hot dog. This is some Midwest shit. She probably from Minnesota. Then she's wiping the hot dog. Must have had too much mustard on it. She got Venus and Scorpio doing this shit. But then again, that could be Venus and Aquarius doing some weird ass shit with your food. Oh, nah, Venus and Scorpio. All right, let's see. Dipping a glizzy in some beer. Okay, what is this? Actually, we're not showing anything with kids because you know how YouTube is. This my dude right here. He be. Oh, I hope this is the one. Wait. No, this is a different one. He's the one that does that rap where he's like Capricorn with a Leo. Wait a minute. Wait, I gotta find that. Hold on. That shit slaps. Let me find it. I kept on playing that over and over again. He's a Capricorn Leo rising, as he says in one of his songs. Hold on. Where you at, big boy? I know I saved it. Where he at? Damn, I don't think I saved it. But let me go to his page. I am Bubba Graham. This the one? Oh yeah, Capricorn with the Leo reach. I was like, hey. Okay, let me turn it up. How come I can't hear it? Oh, here it is.
I'm throwing dollar bills like a
Hey.
I'ma do it till it dies so the grandkids know. Papa gave it all. Everything must go. When I rock the beat, a masterpiece comes out with the key to chip and grease. I try to eat the peace and not release animosity, but here's the beast. When I'm not supposed to be like a mother, you know it's not need like risotto. I'm about to go, girls go, loco. I'm about to let it shine. Where'd you go? Going with a Leo reach. I'm the baddest motherfucker from the big SC. If you got a problem with it first, it's on me. If I'm the one in 82, who the three gonna be? I'ma pop it till the world gon' know. I'm throwing dollar bills like a grown man show. I'ma do it till it dies so the grandkids know. Papa gave it all. Everything must go. When I rock the beat, a masterpiece comes out with the heat, the chip and grease. I try to eat the piece and not release animosity, but here's the beast. When I'm not supposed to be like a mother, you know
I gotta say this so I can come back to it.
I'm about to go, girls go, loco. I'm about to let it shine. Where'd you go? I'm the baddest motherfucker from the big SC.
He said Capricorn with a Leo reach. I like that. Okay, let's go back. All right. You said drunk uncle energy. You said Will's wearing a leg but Isu's colors, right? He know what time it is. Oh man. Okay, let's see. All right, let me come up with another scenario for y'all. Let's see. Scenario for y'all.
It was at this moment that
This is about values. So let's say your mother wasn't in your life for the first 20 years of your life, right? Let's say you were adopted. Mom wasn't in your life for the first 20 years, but age 20, she comes back into your life. Y'all end up having a really good relationship, or I can't say really good, but as good as you can possibly have it, considering that she basically neglected you for the first 20 years of your life. So let's say mom needs a kidney, right? And you happen to be the one that can donate that kidney because y'all got the same blood type or whatever. Would you donate one of your kidneys to your mother knowing that she neglected you for the first 20 years of your life? Go. What would you do? Would you donate that kidney to her even though she wasn't there for the first 20 years? I mean, the most important formative years of your life, she was not there. Would you still donate a kidney to her? Jupiter Going Wild said a flat out no. Salacia said, what mom in Debo voice? I don't think I would do it either. I would be like, I'm sorry, mom. You know, you should have thought about all like what could happen when you had me. And you know, like maybe you should have cared about me more. The Art of Being React said, an angel will have to come and tell me God said to give it to her, otherwise, nah. Jupiter Going Wild said, hell no. Christiane said, what happens when you lose a kidney? Well, she could, let's say, you basically, when you lose a kidney, you could start having problems of your own. You know, there's a reason why we're born with two kidneys, but you can survive with just one kidney, but you're taking a, just having the operation alone, you're taking a risk. Siobhan said, I just saw a thread with a dad asking his son for a kidney that he abandoned. The boy hung up on him. I'm done. I would be like, Mom, I guess that's your karma. Okay, what's this about? Oh, let me see what you said, The Art of Being, about your Taurus hubby. Okay, where you at? You said no. Okay. You said my dude talks to trees and ants, but nothing else. I'm done. He's a Taurus rising. The ant thing worked. I'm done. All right, let's see. But wait, what did you say about hubby though? You said I did respond above. All right, let me go up above a little bit. That's awesome that the sex is good though, because a lot of people have that complaint when they get married. I'm like, if you can get that, shoot. He might be a keeper. Shanti could never sing. Okay, that's not it. You said I answered a long time ago, Rod. Maybe we could continue the Chronicles another time. Okay, that's as far as the chat goes. I'm sorry, but I can look back during the replay. Okay, what were we doing now? What is this? Okay, this is some French shit. We don't got time for that. Dealing with a Jamaican be like,
Don't you think it's normal to put a newborn in a car and go somewhere if you have to go somewhere?
You know, if you have him all over the place, you no need to be all over the place. Him young and him no need to drop on a drop on a front two line. So that's why.
I can't.
What are you doing? Get it from a rap. What are you doing?
To take his burger, and you got his burger in your hand.
It's because he left it over there.
But she still got his burger in her hand.
Why are you making that?
Yeah, you pick it up. Y'all just passing this man burger around.
No. No. He said beef taquitos.
Greased fish,
Nice.
and we're going to put them in the oven for 10 minutes.
Okay.
Taquitos cook for about 10 minutes.
Okay.
So now you're gonna take the large can of enchilada sauce, and we're gonna pour it over.
No.
I got Fiesta blend cheese,
Mm.
and we're gonna top it with some cheese.
Okay.
And these are beef taquitos.
She said
So now we'll put it
taquitos.
back in the oven for 15 minutes.
Okay.
And it'll be done.
Rod made a beat out of a beat. Nope. I asked
Got
Guy to
it.
touch my shoulder.
Can you
All right, here's another one.
lower your branch and touch my shoulder, please?
Okay, let's see.
Lower. Lower. And come and move closer to my voice, please.
She's gonna make me go outside and try this myself.
Closer. 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 Thank you.
Come on.
Thank you. Oh, you're so
There is somebody on the other side of that gate manipulating that branch. Look, that's why I'm almost certain. I'm not buying it. Now, I will tell y'all, I was able to like manipulate fire one time just by speaking to it. Me and my daughter did this before, where we were just sitting next to a candle and we were just focusing on the candle intently. And then we would say higher, 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 and the flame would go higher. Like I could still do it today. So I'm not saying that this is not possible. It probably is, but I want to know if she's the real deal, because you can definitely do it with fire. And me being a fire sign, it makes sense. Maybe she's an earth sign and that's why she can get these plants to touch her and stuff. But I might try it, y'all. And if y'all try it, let me know if it works out. If you can get a plant to reach out and touch you. Is this the longest recorded Zoomies ever? What if, even if you feel alone, you're never alone? What is this?
Used by the Bay Ramirez to participate in the UFC Ice Bucket Challenge. And I nominate Trin.
Wait a
Hey.
minute. Is that her neck I'm looking at? Is her neck that fat? Oh my God.
And I
See, I would say somebody with a neck that fat would have Jupiter and Taurus. She might only be my daughter's age because my daughter got Jupiter and Taurus. So maybe she was born in 2000. Does she look young enough? You know, you can't tell when somebody's carrying a lot of weight sometimes. But I think that's her neck. She probably has Jupiter and Taurus in the 9th house. That's horrible. Damn. All right, what's this? Oh, hell no.
Dedicados a un solo objetivo, la conquista del universo. Solo hay un grupo que pueda retar a la pandilla intergaláctica, los super amigos.
Would y'all eat food from that kitchen? have to put my reading glasses on. Okay, what the hell am I looking at? It's time to go. No, Okay, what's this? No, his pants did not just come down. Ugh. Wait, I gotta see that again. Did his pants just come down? I saw ass crack. And everybody just played it off like that shit didn't happen. Look. What the hell was that? Get your man. Okay, what is this? Oakland fine dining restaurant shows aftermath of senseless violence. What?
Hard work. 20 years of fucking working. This is y'all gave me. Thank you. I appreciate it so much. Shit is just great, man. Worked so fucking hard to build this shit. So many fucking late nights, early mornings for this.
First of all, his first mistake was opening a fine dining restaurant in Oakland. That's mistake number one.
Fucking much, Oakland. I appreciate that shit, bro. All you niggas with this punk ass, phony ass, dumb ass beef shit y'all got going on, man. I appreciate y'all.
He got a yacht in his chart. That's why his restaurant looked like this.
Fine dining restaurant that we had. Thank you. Thank you. I give up. Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's messed up, but dude, know your location. Don't open up a fine dining restaurant in Oakland. Like, that's crazy. Okay, look, this is 60, y'all. Actually, he looks like he could be 70. But let's say he was 70 years old. This is what I'm talking about. Let's say he's 70 years old, boomer category. You're late paying your rent. You know, you already got the eviction notice. The lights are about to be cut off. You know, you've been eating tuna fish sandwiches for the past week. You don't have no other, you got enough money for some ramen. That's about it. He comes to you. He's like, hey, I can help you out. I could throw some money your way, but, can you throw some sugar my way? Would you consider it? He doesn't look that bad. Again, there's plenty of 70-year-olds that look like him. So when I say 70, it doesn't have to be like some old ass decrepit type of person. Okay, so Nandy, let me go back to the restaurant since you wanted to ask about the yacht. So situations like this can result from having a yacht in his chart. And more than likely, if he does have a yacht, it's either including the moon or Venus, because that would represent the restaurant. So yachts can deal with situations that start off good. So him opening the restaurant, that would be the situation starting off good. That would be the sextile included in the yacht. And then the quincunxes that are in that yacht would represent the low class clientele that's coming into this restaurant. And then the whole yacht itself would represent how the shit blew up in his face. Why? Because he opened a restaurant in Oakland when he should have known that that's not a good city for fine dining. All right. Lawyer accidentally uses cat filter during Zoom hearing. He did that on purpose. Okay. What the hell am I looking at? Hell no. See, I hate when they be showing me shit like this. Now I got to go back and look. I don't think this is real. This got to be AI. This is crazy. Who has twisted toes like that? Okay, what would they have in their chart to have that? Number one, they're going to have a Pisces stellium. It's probably in the 8th house. No, not in the 8th. It would be more so in the 11th, because the 11th house deals with things that are weird and wonky and abnormal. Because the toes are all crushed together and twisted like that, there would definitely be some Saturn involved. Yeah, ooh, God. Can you imagine? Would you date somebody with a foot like that? Again, I'm having a hard time believing this is real. And more than likely, they have some, I would say they got a 12th house south node too, which would show karmic debt involving the feet. God, hell no. Okay, what's this? This is why you just can't let anyone join your friend group.
Crazy. I shouldn't even tell you this. I was gonna murder all of you.
What?
Okay. I was gonna murder all of you. Now I'm having the nicest time.
Okay, I gotta start right here. He said I was gonna murder you all today. He got some square involving Pluto. That sounds like Venus square Pluto, actually, because he's talking to a bunch of people talking about I was gonna murder you.
It's like those villains that tell you their secret plan because they know they're going to be able to pull it off. He's going to do it. He's totally going to do it. We should leave right now. End the movie. Don't bring it all the way to the end of the movie for a resolution. End it now before anybody perishes. Bye.
Here's something crazy. Really crazy. I shouldn't even tell you this. I was gonna murder all of you. Okay. I was gonna murder all of you. Now I'm having the nicest time.
He probably has Sun Square Chiron.
Exactly. And pay before you his choices. Like you being those people.
He just shared that with all of us. He's going to do it. He's going to do it.
Hell no. I would move out of town. Okay, what am I looking at? What is this, y'all? Okay, this is an interesting specimen. This is somebody with Uranus rising. Oh my God. Square in Venus. Okay, I don't even want to know what that is. What is that? I know her head got. Oh God. Oh no, I can't. That looks painful. All right, what am I looking at? Okay, she has a shirt on with Gold Digger. Let's see what she has to say.
TikTok shop. These are size 2X. They're very roomy. They're pretty color. They look good from the back because your girl is growing her peach. Okay, these are a little bit bigger than true size. They have more colors, so I'm definitely getting them. And I think they make my butt look amazing. And the color and everything is so cute. Okay, but let me show y'all something that did not work. I'm so excited for this tennis skirt.
My mama taught me if I don't have nothing nice to say, then I shouldn't say anything. Okay. Pennsylvania women arrested for launching explosive diarrhea out of her rear end on another driver's car during a road rage incident. Yo, if that's not Pluto and Aquarius, I don't know what is. That is disgusting. Wait, is this really true? Pennsylvania woman arrested for launching explosive diarrhea out of her rear end. No way. And she's laughing about it? You piece of shit. She a Scorpio, y'all. That's some dark side Scorpio shit. Oh my God. It says the family of 44-year-old Christina Solomento says there is more to the story than what you see below. Solomento was taken into custody after a road rage incident ended with feces on car, according to police. I know it's being joked about a lot. There are a lot of kinds of puns and innuendos online, but bottom line, we are treating it seriously, said Prospect Park Police Chief David Madonna. It can happen in this community. No town wants this to happen. She probably got Mercury conjunct Pluto. No town wants this to happen in their town. The recognition a town gets over this kind of thing is really unwelcome. We don't want this. Oh my God. This is America. When we on the way to fight the gorilla. Oh, this is, what's this? Boys in the Hood? Have y'all saw those videos where it's like A million men versus 10,000 gorillas.
Yeah.
All right, what's this? Is this okay? Here's Cynthia Erivo. It says, "What do you notice about Cynthia Erivo from Wicked?" Who knows? I don't know. I don't know. What's She has some very big hands. Look how big her hands are. Is this woman human? Wait, I gotta pull. What's her birthday? Hold on. Cynthia. I think she's a Capricorn. Somebody told me, I think. Cynthia. Yo, she has some large hands. Yeah, Capricorn, born on the 8th, January 8th, 1987. She might have Mercury in Sag. Should I pull her chart real quick? Diana said, I do not like her. Something about her. I gotta see what those hands are doing in the chart. Hold on. Cynthia. I didn't see that movie, Wicked. Cynthia Erivo, January 8th, 1987. She looked kind of old for her age. I didn't think she was so young. 1980. I mean, I know young 1987 don't seem young to some of y'all, but it seemed young to me. And then she was born in what? London, England. Do I need let me see if I could get her birth time. Hold on. She just came on the scene, came out of nowhere. That's what it seemed like. Okay, time is unknown, of course. So London, England. Male. I mean female. Then I don't have the time. Okay, let's see. So her Mercury's in Capricorn is conjoined to her sun, so she don't have Mercury in Sag, but she does have Mercury sextile Jupiter. And that can produce those big hands. Let me see. Yeah, I don't have her birth time, but yeah, she has some unusually large hands. And I'm gonna have to go soon because my vision is messing with me. I think because I'm like switching back and forth between screens. Okay, what am I looking at? Okay. Okay. We got some man riding on a horseback with no shirt on. Let me check this guy out. Let me see. Okay, what is he doing? I do like cowboys now. I do like a cowboy. Okay.
Whoa, I'm just step by you when I walk. I'm bringing.
Well, we can't play the music. Okay, he think he's something on this horse. I'm not impressed though. Like, why you got your shirt off? Like, be a cowboy. Have your shirt on, like your button-up shirt. Why you gotta have your shirt off? Like, why are you trying to flex like that on the horse? I'm turned off. That shit don't turn me on. Like when a man, like I don't like when a man looks good and he knows he looks good and he's like trying to flex like that. I don't like that. That's a turn off. You a narc. Next. Okay, what's this? Some weird shit. A very special 2000s haircut. Okay.
And which I think
I got a lot of cat video. Like you'll see a lot of cat reels because I love cats. Now, what is this? What is she talking about?
Phenomenon of this personality type. It seems that in my lifetime, a new type of enlightened individual has emerged.
Yes, I do. I like modesty.
Someone who claims to be able to channel godlike entities.
feel the energy of the blue aliens.
Can you say Aquarius?
aliens from other dimensions.
Here are 3 signs that you might be an Arcturian starseed.
They appear to be and present themselves as being extremely spiritual or in touch with otherworldly phenomena.
Yes, we are here. We are here. We are very happy to be here. Yes, indeed. Yes, we are here.
But what's really going on here? Are these people part of a new spiritual revolution? Or is it simply an identity where people display themselves on social media as spiritually enlightened? Can living like these people suggest actually make your life more tolerable and meaningful? Or is it all a bunch of fucking bullshit? You be the judge. Buy my shirt. Can someone explain to me the phenomenon of this?
Hey, sweetie. Call my shit as yes. Hello?
Dick Gregory explains the real meaning behind the imagery of gorillas.
I'm 5'9". If I had a white dude to come up here that's 6'10", my legs will come up to his titty nipples.
What?
Black men and women got long legs and short bodies. White men and women got short legs and long bodies.
We ain't here to get into some race baiting shit, Dick Gregory.
You've got to keep your renters in mind. If you can't see the...
He thought hitting those long notes would get him through Hollywood. Oh, I remember that.
Excited. I'm keeping it calm. I'm not trying to get caught up in the hype. Just relaxing. Can we come collected?
What is his wait. What is let's play guess the rising sign. What is his rising sign? He is interesting looking dude.
Wow.
He dead serious too.
Where do you start? It was so bizarrely dreadful.
I was thinking he got Venus in Sagittarius because he over the top with the singing. He doing too much.
Sure? Yeah.
Can I sing another song?
No.
I'm feeling
That is a
excited,
strange
keeping it
looking
calm.
dude,
I'm not
man.
trying to get caught up in the hype. Just relaxing. Can we come collected?
Said built like Questlove from the Roots. Lord, remember Questlove, that interview where his bottom half was, oh God. Okay, here go your boy, Salacious, where you at? Salacious, I know you got a thing for Michael B. Jordan. You still do? I can't play the music because they're going to get me with the copyright. Wait, is that Michael B. Jordan or is that a lookalike? I thought that was Michael B. Jordan. Is it? Hold on, let me see. Somebody said might be Jordan. That's a Temu version of Michael B. Jordan. I thought that was Michael B. Jordan. Damn. He looks kind of like him though. They're saying might not be Jordan. Oh my God. Jordan B. Michaels. All right. Vacuum collection update. Oh, this guy collects vacuums.
Why not make a collection update on my
He must be on the spectrum.
yeah, so as you see here, it's don't mind the cat. It's pretty much been the same. Maybe some machines have been moved around, but nothing really much has changed. And as you see over here, nothing much has changed with this stuff over here.
I mean, I'm not knocking his hobby, but it's giving serial killer energy, like for real. But you know, you go off, like, do you? Oh no, not this guy. Have y'all seen this dude? He be wearing the tightest pants. So he's like Shannon Sharpe, where he wants to show off his genitals and shit. Look at this shit.
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt. You cannot hurt the king. Sticks and stones.
Why it look like he got a vajayjay? What is up? Like, but no, like I said, some people like to wear clothes where it puts emphasis on their genitals.
May break my bones, but words will never hurt. You cannot hurt the king. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt. You cannot hurt the king. Sticks and stones.
You the one putting yourself out there looking like that.
But words will never hurt.
And why I can't keep my eyes off the crotch? I want to keep looking, like, because I'm trying to figure it out. Hold on, one more time.
May break my bones, but words will never hurt. You cannot hurt the king. Sticks and stones.
Look, I gotta read some of these
may break my bones.
comments. Damn. But I'm like, don't act like, you know, you mad because people talking mad shit about you in the comments, but you put yourself out there for this type of response. Of course, the comments aren't coming up. It's too many of them to load. Damn. All right, we're just going to have to move on. A few more, and then I'm going to let y'all go. What's this? We don't need to know a life hack. What is this? Some weird-ass camel with pants on. Oh my God. I never saw nothing like that. Yo, people are crazy. Okay. Camel with pants on. All right, what's this? NYC has been really like Gotham lately. What's going on here? Wait, no. Wait, somebody stealing a... Oh, somebody hit a food truck. All right, move it on. A monkey sleeping in your bed? I don't think so. Mm-mm. Oh, here's my dude again. Hold on. What he's singing this song? Come on, bro. Hey.
I'm the baddest motherfucker from the big SC. If you got a problem with it, first answer me. If I'm the one in 82, who the three gonna be? I'ma pop it till the world gon' know. I'm throwing dollar bills like a grown man show. I'ma do it till it dies so the grandkids know. Papa gave it all. Everything must go. When I rock the beat,
hey.
Peace comes out with the heat, the chicken grease. I try to keep the peace and not release and animosity, but here's the peace. When I'm supposed to be like a dog, you know what's I need, like Brazil. I'm about to go nuts, go loco. I'm about to let it shine, like Coco.
Capricorn with a Leo reach.
I'm the baddest motherfucker from the big SC. If you got a problem with it, first answer me. If I'm the one in 82, who the three gonna be? I'ma pop it till the world gon' know. I'm throwing dollar bills like a grown man show. I'ma do it till it dies so the grandkids know. Papa gave it all. Everything must go. When I rock the beat, a masterpiece comes out with the heat, the chicken grease. I try to keep the peace and not release animosity, but here's the peace.
That shit needs to be on the charts. All right,
The
Marisa
camera
Martin.
catches a killing as it happened yesterday in North Lauderdale, Florida. The tape comes from Channel 47. That's an
All right,
affiliate
we
of
don't need to see violence right now. She said, I'm hungry now.
I'm 44 years old.
And I've had this problem where I eat the baby powder about 15 years now. It started off as
That's very
pregnancy
Venus and
craving,
Aquarius. Weird
just
eating
the
habits.
smell of it. And then it would grow on to where I'd use it like on my child, and it'd be like I'd like taste it off my hands, like the dusting of it. It'd just be like the smell. I'd be
New Jersey Housewife Diary. No, we don't need to see all that. The sphere fumbled the bag. Now they magically picked it up. What am I looking at?
Imagine the day they see you again. You are just, well, better.
Huh?
Imagine
They
the day
glowed
see
up.
you again. You are just, well, better.
Okay. All right. Oh God, look at those teeth.
I am about to treat myself and get.
That's some Saturn square Pluto if I ever seen it. Oh my God.
Honey, this place is a tree. I love it. You know, only the best for me. And I cannot wait to tell everyone that I've got really, really, really good news. Everybody have a gorgeous day today. Love you.
That's what you call a cabin creep. Did you know that TLC filmed 3 different music videos for Creep? No, I didn't.
Did you know that?
That first cup of tea in the morning. We got Arnold Schwarzenegger with the Terminator. AI shit. This AI shit be looking so fake, but some of it be looking kind of real now. Why I look so young at 41 years old? Bitch, you don't look young at all. Ew. Who lied to you?
Estrogen. So my estrogen is very, very, very high. It's been really high since I was young. At 3, I first got tested because they were like noticing I was developing early. And they found that I had the estrogen levels of a 9-year-old at 3 years old. So that's part of it, that I have high estrogen. But also I take collagen, liquid collagen. So I drink liquid collagen, a tablespoon a day. And that makes you look youthful and your skin moisturized and all that kind of stuff. That's the reason for the glow. So those 2 things have kept me looking very, very young. All right, bye.
Damn.
Okay, so I'm guessing some of you
Some
didn't
people
know
are really
it's 41.
delusional. But we gonna let her keep believing it. Oh, this right here, Katy Perry. This is so Darksided Scorpio shit. Look at this shit. So she's on stage performing, and there is a makeshift toilet with some like poop, you know, dancing and singing along. Like, if that's not Scorpio, I don't know what is. Like, come on now. Stop being so damn predictable. I never liked Katy Perry. Never. Baby, you're a firework. Oh my God, I hated that song. The only song I liked to her, well, kind of like, was that one where she's talking about you're an alien. That one. I didn't mind that one too much. But I hated that one that I just sang, and then the one, I kissed a girl and I liked it. I hated that. So I hate her voice. She just okay, that's weird. Bruh finally broke character.
Oh, more for me, more. Please, more. Yes, more. Please. I like it toasted. What's wrong with you like this?
That's pretty toasted though, bro.
Yes, I like it like this. Yes, I like it crunchy, like chips. Very good. You should try it sometime. It's very good. Over there in India, we do it like this.
Yeah, okay.
Very sad that this family is going through this.
That piece, she like raises up into like a couch.
Oh yeah.
Oh, what is that? What is?
See all those? That's all eggs.
Ew, eggs of what?
All that white stuff is eggs.
Eggs of what? Ew. Oh, what is that?
Yeah, that's
roaches.
You sleep on this? You do.
What?
Yeah, I didn't know that was.
Are those bed bugs? What are, oh my God, what is that? Ew.
Does this, somebody just sit on this chair?
Well, that's where he sleeps.
He's been up really bad.
He's, one of your boys sleep on here?
Oh my God. I think they're bed bugs. Real Blackula. Thank you for your super chat. You said, what does Uranus, North Node, Scorpio in the first mean? Just 1 second.
Put this thing upside down, would you?
That's crazy. Okay. All right. So to answer your question, so Uranus and the North Node of Scorpio in your first house, number one, that can mean that you could be going through changes in terms of your body. These changes could be involuntary, but you could also go through a voluntary change, or you could say transformation via surgery. It could be cosmetic surgery at some point. Also, with Uranus conjoined to the North Node in Scorpio in the first house, that's basically where you need to create your own group, your own club, your own society. Even and with Scorpio, it could be a support group that you create at some point, or there might be some existing support group that you find that helps you get through a very tough time in your life. Also, with Uranus just in the first house alone in Scorpio, you just want to be careful of certain, of friends. Be very selective when it comes to friends, because you could attract a friend that basically tries to be too controlling, basically takes over whenever y'all go out. It's always about what she wants to do instead of, asking you, what would you like to do and things like that. In terms of the body, you could be dealing with a condition involving your central nervous system. So that could be an issue. Problems with your ankles or just your lower legs in general, your shins, your calves, issues with your veins. You might end up with varicose veins with that. And you might even need to get some type of procedure to correct it at some point. And then there could be some situation involving your name, like a name change is very common when you have Uranus in the first house as well. With the North Node in your first house, just know that when it comes to just how you live your life, you always need to focus on yourself first, get yourself together first before you can be focusing on others, helping out others, things like that. And to really get in touch with yourself in a sexual way too. If you don't know yourself sexually, it's never too late to start understanding how you are sexually. And you know what that means when you got Scorpio in the first, you might just be a natural when it comes to, pleasuring yourself. So, and especially with Uranus there, that's like the epitome of having like a collection of vibrators just on deck. Like take your pick, like how you want to get it on tonight type of thing. Get into, pleasuring yourself, making yourself feel good. So when you do, get with a partner, you'll tell them, I like it this way, or, I don't like the way that I feel, or whatever like that. So in a past life with that Taurus South Node in the 7th house, you might have been too much about standards that are set forth by other people, or where you had to conform to what other people, or to basically the dictates of society to come across as normal. Even marrying somebody who ends up being just a bore, or they just might be into vanilla forms of sex, and you find that you're not really being stimulated, that's how that Taurus South Node in the 7th could play out. Also, money issues as well involving partnership. Now, you could get with somebody who makes a ton of money, but they're not good sexually. That's one of the issues that can come with that as well. So hopefully that helps to give you some insight. But thank you so much for that super chat. Oh, can't play the song because of copyright. This guy won't stop lying. Who's lying? Well, we don't got time for all that. Phil Collins revisits the iconic drum kit. I used to love some Phil Collins. Update. I still have no idea what I was singing, but at least there's a coincidence. World's prettiest fried chicken. I'll be the judge of that. All right, this might be the last thing I look at, and then I'm going to just bring this live stream to a close, but I had a good time with y'all.
Put in that seasoned flour. Look at that right there. Look at that.
He said the world's prettiest fried chicken.
Now you want your chicken a little moist. You want your chicken a little moist so that flour can just stick on there. All right. It's time to go and baptize that chicken. That grease is hot, so it's ready. We gonna get it crisp. We gonna
I had fried chicken for dinner.
put them brown.
Tonight.
When it hit, you want to roll it. Well, that's perfect right there. Well, that's perfect. That's what you want right there. That oil is rolling.
Oops, that's my alarm. You know, I wouldn't mind a country dude like that knew how to, you know,
pull it up.
Do a lot of backyard
down
shit.
and flash fry for another 5 minutes.
Not him, but I like guys that know how to, you know, do a lot of things and like handle big like machinery and equipment and contraptions and stuff like that. I like that. And that chicken is kind of pretty. I ain't gonna lie.
Look at that. That's gonna be some crispy chicken right there.
He a grower too. I could tell. Y'all know what I mean when I say he a grower. I could tell. What's your sign? All right, let's see what.
Put in that seasoned flour. Look at that right there. Look at that. Look at that.
You see how careful and gentle he's being with that chicken? That's how he'll be with you in bed. Trust. He knows what he's doing.
All right. I'm going to baptize that chicken. That grease is hot, so it's ready. We gonna get it crisp.
Dudes like that, they don't have no problem going downtown. You already know.
You want to roll it.
He gonna make you feel good.
That's perfect. That's what you want right there.
Right there.
Rolling.
Yeah.
See how light brown that still is?
Yeah.
I want some good condition. Gonna be some good chicken right there. Give me about 10 minutes. I'm gonna pull it up. Drop it back down and flash fry for another 5 minutes.
Okay.
Better drop that chicken for 10 minutes. I about to drop it again and flash fry. Flash fry. You want that grease rolling hot. Otherwise, gonna get crispy. Watch this. As soon as it hits you, when it's rolling. Look at that right there. Look at that. There's gonna be some crispy chicken right there.
All right. Okay, Daddy.
About that
Yes.
right there.
Golden
brown. Look at that right there.
Oh. He making me feel some type of way with that chicken. Okay. Let's move on. Okay. Woo. He was activating my Taurus self. No, Lord Jesus. Okay. I like a man that can cook. All right, we got Adele here. What is she doing? We don't got time to be looking. Okay, this is what I mean about Smokey Robinson. Here we go. Look, this is what I mean. He's so old, but he can't retire because that's what happens when you sell your soul. Like these entertainers, look at him. Look how he's shuffling across the stage. He should be at home in bed right now, tucked in with a hot toddy. That's a damn shame. What is he, like 85? That's a shame. Oh boy, here we go with the Indian street food. Nah, good. Here go my boy again. Wait, come on. Capricorn with a Leo reach. Yes. Hold on. Come on, Daddy. Give it up for the big boys. Now you want to be frozen in time. Come on. Big Bubba.
Capricorn with a Leo reach. I'm the baddest motherfucker from the big FC. If you got a problem with it, first answer me. If I'm the one in 82, 43 gon' be. I'm a party to the world gon' know. I'm going dollar bills like a grown man show. I'ma do it till it's time so the grandkids know. Papa Bubba gave it up. Everything must go. When I rock the beat, the masterpiece comes out with the heat, the chicken grease. I try to keep the peace and not release. And a monster G, but here's the beast. When I'm not supposed to be like a mother, you know what's how to eat like result.
He looks constipated. Okay, Capricorn with the Leo reach. Okay, what's this? My father was the most brutal man I've ever known. He loved to humiliate you in public.
Too, and I remember one time I got in trouble in school because I got in trouble a lot because I was literally at that time out of my mind. I didn't know whether, to be honest, I didn't know whether I was a boy.
I don't got time to listen to your long-winded ass. I really don't. Okay, this is Charlie Baltimore speaks on how Little Kim acted at Biggie's funeral. Let's see what she got to say.
Just found that to be, I'm not saying that people handle grief in different ways. I'm not saying that that's, maybe that's how she really was feeling, that she wanted to roll across the floor at a funeral. To watch someone roll on the floor in a funeral, a crowded funeral, where this man's wife is standing in front of the funeral of the congregation singing her heart out, and showing her appreciation, her love to, her children's father, whether they were together or not. I thought that was quite classy. For you to disrupt that and roll around on the floor, I just found it to be totally, I really don't even know what the word. I sat all the way in the back in the cut and watched this whole thing unfold, me and my girlfriend, and I'm like, she rolling on the floor, like up and down the aisle, rolled all over the floor. I just never saw anything of that sort. And I mean, I grew up in the hood. I'm talking about hood. And I've never seen anybody stop, drop, and roll all over the floor. Got a great roll game, by the way.
Thank you, the Real Blackula, for your super chat. I'll answer your question in a minute. Now, Charlie Baltimore, she got some nerve talking about Little Kim and how she was acting at the funeral. First of all, people grieve differently. And I know some people do kind of get over the top at funerals. But I'm just saying, with the dirt that's on Charlie, come on, you have no room to be talking, considering the way you let Biggie treat you. I'm just saying, she nasty. I told y'all how she got down with the whole thing. Remember on Biggie's album, Life After Death, he has this skit where he's talking about this woman wanting him to take a dump on her. And come to find out, it was Charlie Baltimore that wanted him to take a dump on her, and he actually did it. So she got some nerve talking about talking about Little Kim like that and how she was acting. All right, so you said, what does Neptune and Sagittarius in the second house mean? It means long money. Let me tell you. Actually, that's one of the potential manifestations of Neptune and Sag in the second house. That's like millionaire placement, right? That's if you know how to play your cards right. However, if you don't know how to play your cards right, if you're not really being careful with your spending, you can watch everything that you worked hard for just get dwindled away, or it might just be taken away through theft, which is why you always got to safeguard your resources. But Neptune and Sagittarius in the second, it is great for working in the field of like fashion design, cosmetology, but it's also good for working in the field of medicine. It's also good for working for nonprofit organizations or starting your own nonprofit organization. Hell, if you wanted to have a YouTube channel, you might make good money just because you got Neptune and Sag in the second house. Neptune is videos. Or if you wanted to start having like a TikTok account, you might clean up big in terms of that, just having Neptune and Sag in the second house. But again, you always got to safeguard your resources because Neptune can play out as theft, and that can even be online. So you need to always be checking your bank accounts on the regular, making sure that nobody is hacking into your account or that you're not a victim of identity theft, things like that. Also, you also need to learn how to give back once you get your money. Like once you get to a point where you're financially secure and you got money, in savings and all that, you need to find a way to give back, because Neptune, it's not just about blessing you with pennies from heaven. It's also about being charitable. So start trying to figure out ways where you could be charitable towards others with the blessings that you have been given. And also religious values comes into play with that Neptune in Sagittarius in the second house. You might have been brought up under a religion, and if you're no longer part of that religion, you might still hold on to some of those religious values that have been indoctrinated in you. The Art of Being says, I think the boo-boo fetish comes from thinking that yourself are shit. Yeah, it definitely, because it's a form of humiliation. And a lot of times when people are into humiliating sex acts, it is dealing with something within them, with their self-esteem being damaged, or they have an inferiority complex or something like that. So yeah. Also, you might be secretive when it comes to money too, having that Neptune in the second house. Yep. All right, pastors' wives of the 21st century be like, scandalous. Like, let me stop. No pastor's wife need to be dressed like that. Nah, she look okay. That's not bad. Okay, not bad. Say amen. Amen. Okay.
I'm not the first lady, I'm the youth director. I'm not the first lady, I'm the first lady trainer.
I know it's a lot of women are saying fuck the Spanx nowadays. They're just letting it all hang out. Look at this. None of them got Spanx on.
I'm not the first lady, I'm the first lady.
Well, she might have some Spanx on. Okay, let's see what she got.
I'm not the first lady.
Grandma.
I'm the first lady's sister by another mother.
Okay.
I'm not the first lady, I'm the first lady farm member.
All these church people are scandalous as hell. That's why they go to church. All right, let me see. What is this? We don't got time for this either. Oh, people been talking shit about Omarion too. You know, that people are clowning him because of his man boobs. You can't really see them clear here, but you can kind of see them titties jumping, popping, bopping. But yeah, he's been getting clowned lately for having man boobs, which I think is kind of sad because, well, obviously he's not ashamed of them because he be on stage with his shirt off with them titties just bouncing up and down. But, you know, his situation is quite common nowadays for a lot of these men because of all the stuff that they put in the food, the added, you know, estrogen producing chemicals that are in the food. A lot of men nowadays are ending up with gynecomastia, man boobs. It's a shame. What is he doing right here? I'm done. Yo, okay. The ritual that took place before they head out to put raisins in your potato salad. Stupid. Okay, what is this? More crazy verbal house from, what is this?
What's going on in the bathroom there, dude?
Don't forget to wait.
What's going on? Gosh.
Oh, a soda machine.
Hit that bottom one.
Hey. That's
You get
cool.
Rickrolled.
Hey,
That's
that's
freaking awesome.
cool.
See the bidet, actually Baja Blast. Yeah, lift the lid. Each layer has a different.
Oh my God. A different flavor. I like your showers. So this is an artist down here in Sarasota. This is Guap. And this is his furry
Refrigerator.
refrigerator.
That's
It's also a
cool.
disco.
Well,
That's cool. I like when people do creative things with living spaces. That's pretty cool. All right, today's music versus 80s music. No. Okay, he is scary. Like, I am scared. He's like a white version of Shannon Sharpe. I'm scared. What the hell? What am I looking at? Oh no. And then look at his rings. You know he's into some dark shit. Oh, hell nah. I know he got he got a bunch of bodies under him, and I'm not talking about sex partners. he's did some killing in his day, I'm sure. What in the Pablo Escobar we got going on here? All right, what is this? Oh, so embarrassing to say at 55. Oh, Cree Summer.
Oh, so embarrassing to say.
Wait, what is she?
That's compatible for me. Yet, with all I know, I'm too smart to have chosen what I've chosen, you know? Yeah. I could have given myself the credit for how intelligent I really am. I think sometimes I found myself in situations past the expiration date purely out of loneliness. I think loneliness is probably the greatest culprit to get me into things where I could have probably just looked at it and gone, I know that ain't gonna work.
Yes.
You know? But he drives a really nice car and he's, what a smile. And,
Ready?
And he's fucking ready. And then, there you are. Oh, so embarrassing to say.
I don't
at
understand what
55.
the hell she was talking about. Okay. What is it? Britney Spears stuns with Whitney-esque vocals. Wow. She is far gone. That's sad. Okay. This is going to be the last one of the night. Okay, take it away.
First, I'm like, I'm on defense. Then I'm putting my hands up. I'm straight. How I look though? Let me know.
That's your boyfriend.
Boy, I'm straight. First, I'm like, I'm on defense. Then I'm putting my hands up. I'm straight.
Can you imagine the smell he's giving off right now? I can almost smell him through this screen. And look how you could tell, like, the back of his boxers are all sweaty. Like, geez. Oh, God. Let me get off of here. But I had fun with y'all. Thanks for hanging with me for so long. Yeah, it's a sign it's time to go because the viewer count has dipped below 100. We're back up to 100 now. But yeah, we're going to end it on a good note, on a happy note, because this man, he seems all happy and jolly and shit. But yeah, stay tuned for another live stream that maybe next week. I don't know though, but I think I probably will be able to do Tarot Tuesdays next week. So stay tuned for that. I'll send out the notification if I am able to do Tarot Tuesdays. And again, consider taking my workshop on the lunar nodes. It's going to be really informative. It's going to be fun as well. It's going to be held on May 10th, which is next Saturday. So if you want some insight on the nodes and how they impact your life and how you can really use the nodes to empower you, definitely want to consider purchasing a ticket. The link to purchase the tickets via Eventbrite is in the description section of this video. If you would like a reading, the link to my website is in the description section of this video as well. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. I want to give a special thanks and shout out to my Diggable Planets, aka my channel members, my Patreon members. If you want to consider joining my Patreon, the link is in the description. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I am out. Peace, many blessings. Love y'all. And I'll be back soon.